spooky. Oh my god. Okay, I need to go through all of this. Cause child, yeah. We need a resolution of being home. Throw that away. Oh shoot, my phone is over there. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm. I think today should be a little bit, at least this evening, should be a little bit more admin focused. Hey, Shantavia Walker. I like that name. It's original. What up, girl? Is this water? I don't know. I don't think it is. Oh, you found my channel last week? Okay, that's what's up. How you been liking it so far? I'm hoping you finding, my videos useful. The old and the new, you know what I mean? And hopefully you gaining something from my experience and my little ramblings. Girl, I feel like I need a booster seat. I'm looking hella short right now, okay? Okay, you love it. Okay, I love that. I love that you love it. Girl, I need a booster seat. Like, why am I so low? Hold on, let me sit on some pillows. You see how that worked? Girl, short ass. I'm like 5'5", okay? Oh, you can relate to me. That's what's up. That's my hope, honestly. I feel like most people that do subscribe can relate to me, whether it's just a thought or a circumstance, whatever. You know what I mean? And that's really my hope. I want to attract more people who, have had similar experiences. You know. So I don't know. Did you have any questions or anything? If you do, feel free to ask. Just keep it respectful. That's all I'm gonna ask. Okay. And I'm gonna keep it real. Jesus Christ. Hey, Simi, what's up, girl? Yeah, I swear, to God, my face has been looking so much smaller since I stopped drinking. I think that's why somebody thought I lost weight. I was like, I mean, you know, I just ain't drinking as much. Been drinking that good old water in this Texas heat, okay? Um, how are you? I'm good. How are you doing, Simi? Oh my God, why am I like I'm sliding now? Hold on. All right. Anyway, any of y'all have work today? I didn't. Okay. But did any of y'all have work today? Not trying to rub it in. I just didn't have work today. Um, but I did have some important things to handle. So I was needing that little time off, you know. You did. Hopefully it was good. Was work good? Cause girl, you know how it is, with these jobs, yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping that all of you who worked today, that the work was great. It didn't take too much from you, because I know how that goes. But shoot. Oh, it flew by. That's what's up. That's what's up. That is awesome. Okay, so since there's some of y'all in here, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some things. All right. Oh, you looking for another job? Okay. What type of job you looking for? Oh, girl, I need to get my hair done. That shit over here feeling like a Brillo pad, but it's getting longer. Boom. What's to eat tonight? These nuts. The hell? Like, you come on my channel asking me what's to eat. Am I a cooking channel? Anyway, I was just playing. Not really, but hell yeah, I'm an eating channel. Cause I eat you bitches up every single time. Just waka waka waka. Okay, like Pac-Man. Anyway, I eat you bitter bitches up that be watching here from fake accounts. Mad as fuck that I'm in the building. Hi, hater. Anyway, so let's start talking about the subject, okay? So I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was doing some thinking earlier and I was having like a really deep dive session with myself. And look, I'm gonna just tell you straight up how my little deep dive sessions go is I talk to myself. And I know people like to pretend that they don't talk to themselves or that they want to act like it's weird. It's really not. You know what I mean? Because when you talk to yourself, you start to gain clarity. You know what I mean? And personally, I feel like talking to myself isn't like, in the weird way, like where, people have mental issues where they're just talking about any damn thing and arguing with themselves. No, there it's like almost like consultation or a meeting between me and my higher self, and even like my shadow self. You know what I mean? You talk to yourself too. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Cause girl, what? Like I hate when people talk. Oh, that's weird. You talk to yourself. Yes, fool. Not trying to be funny, but you can't trust everybody out here, okay? Like I need an expert opinion. But no, for real. Not for real though. It helps me to explore deeper within myself, right? And I'm pretty sure y'all relate to that too. But I was thinking about something earlier and it was basically about I realized y'all that most of my life, especially when I was younger, I was trying to live I was trying to live my life to impress other people. You know what I mean? I was trying to live my life in a way where I would look good enough to other people. Um Especially to family, right? Especially to family. And I realized that the damage that that shit has done in my life and how much that hurt me. You know what I mean? Because I was sitting over here trying to make them proud, which I know you're like, yeah, most people try to make family proud, your parents, that's normal, right? But here's the thing, I was chasing dreams that were never really mine to begin with. And that does nothing for me. That did absolutely nothing for me. You know what I mean? I was chasing dreams that were never mine to begin with. And I was trying to do it from the viewpoint of, well, here's the thing, okay? I heard Melvin say this recently, and he was right that we all care about how we're perceived by others. But even then, you're not supposed to give a fuck what people think about you. Now, of course, add on to that, you're the black sheep of your family. You're young, and you're malleable, and you think the people around you, especially the older people around you, know what's best and they don't. You know what I'm saying? They want basically for you what makes them look good, especially if they're your caregiver, right? They want that. Um, and especially for those of you who come from like a toxic family, you know what I mean? Appearances are every fucking thing, right? They always want to have the bragging rights. Oh, my child is this. They're a doctor. They're a lawyer. They're a teacher. They won teacher of the year, head ass. You know what I'm saying? They want to do that just to have some false sense of bragging rights. You know what I mean? So that they can feel better about the ways that they fucked up with raising those children. Let's be real, right? And I that made me realize like how much of us have probably taken on the responsibility of trying to um make those people look good. You know what I'm saying? And it makes no sense to me. Like it's it sucks when you realize that you've been doing things for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember, I think I even shared with y'all in the past that I really just wanted to be seen as good enough by my family for fucking once. And newsflash, baby, if you are the black sheep, ta-da, you ain't never gonna be enough. Okay? You're never going to be enough for them. You're never going to be good enough for them because they already measuring you against like unrealistic standards for one. They teach you nothing but expect you to know everything. And then I mean, to me, like, what sense does that fucking make? Seriously. You teach me nothing but expect me to know everything. Make it make sense, right? Definitely misunderstood for sure. You right, Shanta. And that's crazy. Like, it made me realize like how much time we waste trying to live our life to impress other people, especially families, and then also how that kind of can spill over to our other relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes with our partners, it can go with that, right? With your job, you're trying to exceed above and beyond to get that little pat on your back. Good job that you never really got like that from your family. You see what I'm saying? And I just realized that. Hold on, what'd you say? He said some mothers don't even like their daughters. Definitely not. I think that's weird too. Cause why the fuck are you having kids if you're not gonna like them? Like, yeah, and I'm not saying like, okay, maybe your child is kind of a nightmare. Like, no, your kid overall is pretty good, but you feel like you need to control them like a little puppet on some strings. That's weird to me. That's weird. And you're right about that, Simi. But we waste so much fucking time, y'all, trying to please these people and trying to look good to them. Cause honestly, who the fuck are they? Who the fuck are they to be looking good to? They have nothing. They have no heaven or hell to put you in. Their approval gets you nothing. It doesn't get you more money. It doesn't get you a better life. It doesn't get you a fatter ass or a flatter stomach. It doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I like what you're doing. Bitch, what the anyway. You know what I'm saying? That shit is so fucking stupid. And I do remember like okay, I remember growing up, for example, right? When I was in high school, I remember, saying, okay, when I graduated, I was going to go to school for criminal justice, which I did. Um, and y'all killing me with the way y'all laughing at what I just did. But anyway, so they do that, right? So yeah, I went to school for criminal justice. I got my associate's degree, right? But that was my main course of study. And at some point, I did want to be a police officer. Of course. That changed, so we pivoted. Then I didn't know what I wanted to do for a while, right? And then I started coming into healthcare. Now here's the thing. I started off with healthcare, like with as a caregiver, right? A home health aide. Then it was like, okay, let me go ahead and get my CNA certification, right? And then I can go to nursing. Do y'all see this face? Let me just say this. Do you know how many people who work a fucking nursing job or a police officer job that fucking hate their life? I'd be fucking damned if I sit over here and go to a job that's paying me 30, 40 an hour and I still am miserable with my life. And I'm just doing this to look good on paper. Oh, I'm a nurse head ass. No, no, no shade against people who are nurses. You're needed. But baby, that's not for me. I was doing it for the wrong reasons. That's what I'm calling out, boo. I was doing it for the wrong reason. So look at me. I'm a nurse. I'm important. I'm somebody. I'm valuable. I'm trying to impress people. For what? These people don't care about me like that. Motherfuckers don't care if you live or die. So why the hell are you living to impress them? And I basically came to the realization that I know exactly what the fuck I want now. Because when I was younger, and see, this is where I have to catch myself, y'all. Because when I start thinking about my younger self, it's like, man, I should have knew better than that. Why the fuck did I do that? But then I have to pump the brakes real quick because it's like little Janice did not know any better. Okay, little me did not know any better. I was surrounded by people who I thought wanted what was best for me, but really what they wanted was best for themselves and to make them look good and to feel good for wherever they fell short. You see what I'm saying? So here's the thing, right? I have to show myself compassion, my younger self compassion. And I have to be aware of the fact that I didn't know who the fuck I was then, but I know absolutely who the fuck I am now. And I know what I value, not only who I am, what I believe in, but also what I value. And what I value is not what most people value. You know what I'm saying? And I understand everybody's not like that. Some people are still stuck in the superficial, and that's honestly on them. But that doesn't have to apply to me, or I have to basically I have to measure my self-worth by what I do for a living or my title. I realize the things that I really value are peace. You know what I'm saying? It's peace, freedom, autonomy, having a quiet. Honestly, when it comes to these jobs, I'm gonna just let you know straight up. Some of them jobs wouldn't even work for who I am now because I'm a person that I value something very that most people hate because there's when they come into, especially when they come into the workforce, oh, I want to be where the action is. I want to show that I can do this and do that. I'm trying to climb the ladder. You sound dumb. You sound dumb. You gonna fuck around and fall off that fucking ladder. Okay? What I value is a peaceful life. A boring, honestly, when it comes to work, baby, I don't give a damn what nobody thinks. Give me the boring job that pays well. It don't have to pay the most, but it pays well. Give me that boring job. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? That energizes me. Um, that does because I realize my look, and for most people, our passion is not gonna be in any job. Mine will not be. I've accepted that. My passion will not be in any job. Point blank period. My purpose is not connected to a job. Some people's are, and that's great for them. But see, what people need to realize is that that's not what most people That's not what most people experience. And especially when like you don't have guidance like that. You know what I'm saying? What just happened to the Q&A? Oh, okay, whatever that was. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. And it's like I want to be hard on myself sometimes. Like, damn, why did I do that? Why was I trying to do that? I was trying to prove my worth. And that's where it hurts you. You're trying to prove your worth to other people. See, look at me. Look at me. I'm a lieutenant state trooper. I'm a nurse. I don't give a fuck. Not trying to be funny, but that doesn't impress me and that will not make me respect you more. Are you a good person? Do you respect the people around you? Do you have a good heart and good energy? Okay. And it's crazy how many people go up into these people go into the world and they really mislead us, honestly. With, oh, whoever has the best position wins. Win what? What are you winning? Can y'all tell me? What the fuck are you winning? I don't get it, y'all. Cause there's so many people that are fucking miserable, and I've seen these damn people. And I look at people and I'm able to pick up on energy real fast. And I'm like, bro, they are not happy. They don't even like this shit that they doing. It's probably paying them well, but they hate this shit. And they feel stuck. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm so glad that having this. Oh, shit, y'all, my bad. I'm so glad that I'm having this realization now. Chad, I'm glad I had pants on because y'all would have been like, what the hell? Anyway, but yeah, anyway. My whole thing is this. Yeah, I think you're not really understanding what I'm talking about. But anywho, what I'm saying is living to impress other people in your family. Because I know those of you who understand this message are gonna get where I'm coming from. Because y'all have maybe been struggling with that y'all entire lives. Maybe some of y'all are working careers or jobs right now where you're like, damn, this wasn't even my dream. You know what I mean? Like I remember there was someone, I can't remember exactly who it was, that was, I don't know if they were in my family or if it was like a friend of the family, but basically their child had went to school. And I remember this specifically because there was another family member that told me this, but they had said they went to school, they got their degree, right? It wasn't really what they wanted to do. But then after they got their degree, they went ahead and pivoted into what they really wanted to do. But what they told their parent, and this is what really stood out to me all these years, is that okay, I did this for you, but now I'm doing this for me. Do you know how many people are walking around like, damn, I'm not even living the life I want to live because I was trying to do what family wanted me to do or what looked good to me so they could have bragging rights. You know what I mean? That's That's horrible. Honestly, that's horrible. Now, I'm not gonna lie. If it got you somewhere, that's cool. But y'all, the way that I be seeing people just like you can see the life like just kind of the light just being sucked out of their eyes. You know what I mean? They're just there basically um on autopilot. You know what I mean? They're like, let me get through this shit so I can go ahead and get my social security. Let me just do this until I'm about 60 or whenever the fuck you stop working now. I don't know. They gonna try to have us work until the grave, child. But anyway, it's a horrible thing to realize that you've been doing that your whole life. You know what I mean? And that's what's been keeping you very confused. And what I'm very happy about is now I'm finding my way. Finally, I'm finding my way. And I'm choosing to be um I'm choosing to be better. Child, we ain't doing that negativity over here. Child, get the fuck up out of here. I've been at my job. I hate when people only want to comment just to disagree. Girl, shut the fuck up and be gone. I've been at my job since 2007. It's minimum wage only. Okay. So how are you feeling about that? Okay. Now see, here's the thing. Okay, Shanta, you said I have my degree, but now I'm starting to think it was a waste of time. It wasn't something I really wanted to do. Do you know how many people I've heard say that shit? And then they've sitting there gotten all this debt, and then they're basically stuck in a cycle where okay, I gotta sit over here, and that's if they got in debt. Some people don't, which is awesome, but most people do. And then they puts them in a cycle where it's like, okay, I gotta keep working this shit to repay these loans, and it's a trap. You know what I'm saying? And see, look, um, I'm not saying this to shame anybody who did that, because if you're really truly happy with the decision you made, like old girl that I just had to block out of the chat, um, you're not gonna be in a rush to defend what you did. You know what I mean? Which that lets me know she's not really happy with the decision she made. You know what I mean? Okay. So you feel like you should just stay where you at, Simi? You don't have to settle. You don't have to settle. You know what I mean? But I feel like it sucks because it takes you through when you're doing this, it takes you through um so many unnecessary hurdles where you start doing things it's not a good fit for you. You try to work here and work there, it's not a good fit. Oh, you said she was being negative for sure. Of course she was. You know what I'm saying? She was being negative because guess what? A hit dog fucking hollers. If you really happy with what you did, you don't gotta argue or defend that. And you damn sure don't have to come at me with an attitude. And I don't know who the fuck she thought she was talking to. You ain't finna come up in here and be negative. This is my world, squirrel. Okay. So Simi, I have to ask you a question because something is leading me to ask you this. Do you feel like you deserve better than your job, the current job that you have? And I'm not saying you gotta settle for something less. I'm not saying you gotta settle for the lowest thing out there. But do you feel like you deserve better? What was your last job, Shanta? Hey, Contrell. Okay, yes, you do. Okay, well, if you want better, I'm gonna say this much. Look, I can't tell you what to do, but I know what I'm doing. I'm choosing to go for better for myself. You know what I mean? And that's by any means necessary, any fucking means. You know what I mean? But what I'm talking about is basically, I'm no longer going for what impresses people. I'm no longer going for what impresses people. I'm going for what feels right in my spirit and what I know is good for me and something that I can sustain long term. You know what I mean? And that was actually part of my little deep dive I had with myself. You know what I mean? I was working certain jobs that I knew had a fucking expiration date on it. Or it really had no purpose in where I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Outside of okay, look, it's paying my bills right now. That's it. You know what I mean? And I understand most people, you gotta just take a job like that. You know what I mean? I get that. Okay. But it's just like hell no. Cause even with what I'm doing right now, that's not where I wanna be in the future. You know what I mean? It's just what I'm doing for now, right? But Simi, I would not encourage you. I would not encourage you to stay where you're at. If you know, if it's not enough for you. You know what I mean? If you feel like you deserve more and deserve better, I'm gonna tell you that you do, and you can go for it. Even while you working that little Rudy Poo job that's paying minimum wage, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be the rest of your life. But what this live is for people who can relate, basically, where they try to you tried to go the route of doing what other people wanted you to do or what they told you was the right thing to do, but even in your spirit, you were like, this don't feel right for me. This don't. You know what I mean? Like this don't feel right. This I know society is saying this is the right way to go, but it's not for me. You see what I'm saying? And there was a time where I used to feel bad that I couldn't achieve certain things, but now I'm realizing I don't need to feel bad about that because that wasn't where I was supposed to be. I was not supposed to be a police officer. Could I have been? Yes. I was not supposed to be a nurse. Should I be a nurse? Absolutely the fuck not. I'm not even gonna lie to you about that. Okay, hell no. With the things I know about myself now, hell no. I don't need to be no nurse. And I can say that with my entire chest. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking shit on anybody who is a nurse or a police officer. So please don't be stupid. But I'm just saying this is for me. Just like if you happen to be those things, you're not meant to be a mechanic or a fucking salesperson. You know what I mean? That's not you. But one thing I'm realizing is that we all have different journeys in life, and nobody's journey looks the same. And we should stop allowing ourselves to be pressured by society or by family or by just trying to impress other people. That's stupid. When you're trying to impress other people, you're fucking miserable. And I sit back and I think like, bruh, back then, I remember back then there was somebody who got into it, right? And they were like, you're miserable. You're miserable. Well, no shit, bitch. I'm miserable because I was doing what everybody else wanted me to fucking do. Okay. How about that? Duh. Yeah, you have to find what works for you. And the thing is, it's not going to look like what everybody else does. That's really an individual course. You know what I'm saying? It's an individual course for everybody. You know what I mean? And one thing I also had to learn, I've heard people say this, but I truly understand it now that life is not linear for everyone. For some people, they think, like that dumb bitch that I just blocked out, they think their way is the only way and it's the right way. Oh, okay. Well, I just go, I just go linear, you know what I'm saying? In one direction. Everybody doesn't do that. Some people's journey goes like this and 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 then like this and then like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even about college, y'all. And you're right, college isn't for everyone. It's not that college wasn't for me. College is definitely something I know I could always do, and it's always gonna be there. It's still gonna be there, still gonna be overpriced as hell. You know what I'm saying? And it's still gonna be a piece of paper I get that people tell me I don't have enough experience to do a job for. You know what I mean? So, but it's just like, and I'm not even shitting on college. If you want to do that, do that. You know what I mean? And stand on it. But it's just the fact that that's not what everybody's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, you're right. What worked 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago does not work now. And then that sucks Because when you're younger, you're listening to people who are stuck in that old way, and they basically they love to tune out anything new, anything current, anything relevant. You're like, well, actually, you don't really need that. College is the only way. That's exactly what they do. Yeah, every time I hear somebody do some shit like that, that's exactly what I picture. And I start laughing because it's like, baby, you are so asleep. And I'll never forget the day, y'all. I met this one woman who she was actually an entrepreneur, right? And she was doing some online work. But I remember she told me that, you know, with her son, she had a son, and she was just like, I'm not gonna pressure him to go to college. I'm not gonna do that. And that's the first time I had ever heard that because that was foreign to me. It's like, oh, you need to go to college or join the military. Why it gotta be those two options? Y'all don't find that a little weird? You know, why it gotta be those only two options? Is there not like an option C, D, maybe? You know what I mean? And I'm not shitting on getting a higher education, but what people need to also understand is that going to trade school is getting an education. Guess what? You want to shit on trade school until you need a fucking electrician or you need a maintenance man to come fix your washing machine. What your degree gonna do with that? Okay, your degree in underwater basket weaving ain't gonna do a fucking thing. It ain't gonna fix shit. You know what I mean? And see, I can honestly tell y'all, I don't know exactly the path that I'm going on right now. Like I don't know exactly what's next, but I know what direction I'm going in. You know what I mean? I know what's next to come. You know what I'm saying? Now it's not to say that maybe some years from now I might not, you know, finish my degree or whatever. But I see it for what it is. The only reason why I was going to school was to look good to people who really don't give a fuck about me. So they can look at her and say, uh-huh, yeah, she got a degree. Uh-huh, uh-huh. What the fuck? I mean, seriously, y'all, when I think about that shit, it's like peer pressure. Yeah, me too, girl. I should have went to trade school. You know what I mean? And I've had more, man, I've had this feeling on so many fucking occasions, y'all. I've had this feeling on so many fucking occasions. I remember being in college and even at a university, and I remember somebody had asked me what was my biggest regret, and I said going to college. I didn't want to be there. It's not because I was stupid. I've been on the dean list at every motherfucking school I have attended in every damn semester. I'm not stupid at all. I'm far from it. I just didn't want to do that. That wasn't my path. You know what I'm saying? And that's why to this day I respect people. I've always had a great respect for people who knew what they didn't want to do and didn't fucking do it. No matter how much they got fucking pressured by other people or you know, even if they maybe started second guessing themselves, they followed what it is that they wanted to do. I have mad respect for those people, and I will always have respect for them. And you know what? College really isn't for most people, even some of the people in there, because they be, child, look, as a person who's going, they be cheating. And that's scary because when you sit here and think about it, it's a lot of nurses out here that be cheating on their exams and they just going into the job and they just letting any dumb bitch be a nurse now. That's scary. You know what I'm saying? That's some scary shit. Be cheating on their exams, especially, oh God, and I can only imagine now with AI. Lord, anywho. hell. My bad. But anyway, you can hear me now? But yeah, that shit is scary to me. Y'all should be able to hear me. I I accidentally hit the mute button. But anyway, that scared the shit out of me. Like honestly, when I realized that, because I remember at the time I was going to school for criminal justice, there was this girl that I knew, and she told me that the other girls that was in her program and the nursing program and all that, they was cheating. And these are the people that are probably caring for you right now, caring for all of us right now. And you want to know why? They went into that line of work for the money, not because they really give a fuck about people or want to help people. And they did it to look good and say, I'm a nurse. Because you know what? In society, people praise that. And see, that's part of the issue is that I wanted a part of that. Now, child, I don't give a figgity fuck. Okay. You see this? You can sit on this and rotate, bitch, as far as your opinion. Okay. I don't care. Okay. And that's how I really truly feel about it. It's like I know what I value to me, especially with the things that I've gone through. That's caused me to see life in a different manner. I value peace, I value stability, I value quietness, simplicity. So like I said, bring on the boring ass jobs with money. Okay, that bring me some money. It don't gotta be the highest paying one. I don't care. It gotta be enough for what I need. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I don't see college as the only way, but I treat it like my safety net. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. As long as you know it's not the only way, that's all that matters. But my issue is when people act like that's the only way, and it's not. And then they want to look at you stupid, like how I was looked at dumb growing up. Well, what are you gonna do? And see, that's the difference. Like when you have people that are truly in your corner and rooting for you, they'll understand and they'll take things into consideration. Like, okay, you say you don't want to do that, so can you come up with some other methods? You know what I'm saying? And you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna be real. Whoever you are, Shin Chilla, I don't know what the hell. How you say your name? But anyway, college really isn't a safety net. It's not a safety net for you to get a job, especially not these days. And maybe it used to be, but it's not. It's an illusion of that. But I understand why you would want to knock that out and say, okay, well then I'll try other things, which is like what I said earlier with when that lady said, okay, I went to school for you, but now I'm doing this for me. And I think that's what it was. They had went to school, I think for social work, and then they decided that they were gonna go get a trade, and they did that for themselves. And you know what? Kudos to them for that. Yeah, a lot of people can't, and that's not a lie. You know what I'm saying? They can sit there and try to pretend like, oh, that's not true, bruh. And see, here's the thing, like that. What I'm tired of is like choosing to make these damn decisions, right? For those of you who can relate, those of you who have tried to walk the traditional path, you shouldn't feel bad that that didn't work out for you because that wasn't your path. Or at least not at that time. Maybe later on it will be. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you had to experience life first. It is what it is. Right. Still have to, yeah, to here. Okay. But it is what it is. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like living for other people will make you wake up one day and realize, why the fuck did I do this shit? because it'll give you more problems than you had to begin with. You know, maybe at first you didn't know what you wanted to do, but they're like, oh, well, just go and do this and do that. But that ain't what you want to do. So that was kind of wasted time. You know what I'm saying? And effort. And I sit back and think like when I became a CNA or when I got my CNA training, I ain't use that shit. Cause I had decided shortly after I don't want to do that shit. This does not sound appealing to me. So I basically wasted money and time training when I could have been using that energy towards something else better suited for me. But you know, in my mind, I was doing the right thing, but I really wasn't. I was doing it for other people. You see what I'm saying? I'm not doing that no more. And that's one thing I'm really proud of myself for because it's like, look, at this point, whatever job I have, and I know exactly what I'm going to school for. I know exactly what I'm going to get my training in, rather. But that honestly has nothing to do with the rest of me. It has nothing to do with the rest of me. You still trying to figure out your purpose? You're right. You won't feel fulfilled. And I can say that as someone who was desperately, and I mean desperately, trying to live for the approval of my family, to be seen as good enough. Oh, I finally did something right. Oh, look at me. I'm an important person in society. You won't feel fulfilled. I can say that from active experience. And one thing I will say is I'm proud of myself for as soon as I realized that that was not the path I wanted to take, I disconnected from that. Even though it may have cost me some money and time, but I disconnected from that because I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I know exactly what I don't want to do. And y'all, it's crazy. There's so many examples that are coming to my mind, y'all. Because I've heard so many people, they've talked to me about this, or we talked about it. And there was this one person, yeah, this had to be like maybe 2016, I think, when I was talking to this guy, and he was saying how his family constantly put him down for going to trade school, right? And I think he was an electrician, I think. So, you know, that's a good job, especially, you know, considering that it's a trade, right? And that's a very necessary job, right? So, I remember he was saying his family was giving him shit about doing that, not going to college like, you know, his brother, but he was like, his brother graduated and is struggling to find a job, while meanwhile, he's sitting over here quietly saving for a house. I mean, I'm no genius. You know what I'm saying? I'm no Einstein. I am a genius, but I'm no Einstein. But which of those situations seems better? Having a piece of paper that says, "Look, everybody, I did this," but now I can't find a job that pays me worth the amount of debt I'm probably in, and that's if they accumulated debt. I don't know if his brother did or not. Or the person who went and got something that was sustainable and they're actively working in it. You know what I'm saying? And they're able to self-sustain themselves. Yes, it's a good job. And he can start his own business with that skill, man. Like, I'm really sitting over here like, bruh, like, we really be chasing the wrong things. And when I say we, I'm talking about me. Okay. I used to do that. And I'm being vulnerable enough to say that and open enough. Because I was trying to make people proud of me. I was trying to be seen as good enough. Baby, when I tell you, when I say sit on that middle finger and rotate, fuck your opinion. I don't care. Okay. I know what's coming next for me. And it's crazy because I'm actually like in a certain stage right now in my life where I'm getting more focused, right? Girl, I done fell out. I done fell out. You said it. You said it, girl. You said it, Shantavia. Family members will lead you in the wrong direction. They will. And it's not necessarily that they're trying to, but like I said, well, some of them do. I ain't gonna lie, some of them do that shit on purpose. They do. Uh and they don't listen to what it is you say that you want. You know what I mean? I can't tell you the amount of times where I was like, you know what, I don't really think this is a good fit for me. I don't think I want to do that. Well, you should still do that anyway. Like, bitch, I said I don't want to do that. And that's setting you up for fucking failure. That's setting you up for failure. Because when the shit don't work out, they're looking at you like you're a fucking failure, right? Oh, my bad, y'all. I got a message. But anyway, they're setting you up for failure. Because when the shit don't work out, then they're looking at you like you did something wrong or something's innately wrong with you. You know what I mean? Now, I do understand some of them may mean well, but you know what? That still doesn't mean that they're still leading you in the wrong direction. And it's just unfortunate because there's so many people out here that are like, man, do you understand? There's some people that are solely the black sheep of their family just because they chose to go a different path, which I think is so stupid. Like they're literally ostracized or outcasted from their family because they chose to not go to college or because they chose to not do what everyone else was doing. Put it that way. Baby, please. I have very strong feelings about this. I'm trying to keep it to myself because I don't want to seem like I'm being judgmental of people who do choose that route. Because if it works for you, that is great. Honestly, I love that for you. But that don't work for everybody. Matter of fact, it don't work for most people. Okay. He said, "Are you gonna have a job for me when I graduate?" Hello, hello. That's what I'm saying. Other people's approval really means nothing. You approving yourself means everything. What matters is you waking up every day and having peace in your heart and in your spirit and not basically coming home at the end of every week like, okay, yeah, it looks good on paper, but I'm drained when I come home every day and at the end of every week and on the weekend I'm trying to escape. And on Sunday, I'm basically like biting my nails because I know I gotta restart Monday, work on Monday. Now, mind you, this shit could happen with or without, a degree. So I'm not, like I told you, I'm not just shitting on degrees. But what I'm talking about is when you choose to do other things that you didn't want to do, that's where it make you want to kick yourself. And no, y'all, I'm not going for it, man. I'm not going for it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm too fucking old to be doing that, and I'm not even that old. But I feel like, you know, the age I am now, I know better than to be trying to live for other people. I'm at the age now where it's like, you know what? Whatever decisions I make, I'm completely aware that they are my own and it's for me. I'm the only one deciding them because I'm the only one who has to live with the consequences of my own actions and decisions. And that's how it's always been. But when you were younger, you didn't know that. You see what I'm saying? You didn't know that. Absolutely. Gotta always keep going. And see what I need people one thing I wish more people would do is just be proud that your child be proud that your child is not an addict. Be proud that your child is not in and out of prison. Be proud that your child is a good person and they're surrounded by love instead of making you look good because of their status in society. You see what I'm saying? That is very true. Nobody knows everything, no matter your age. Anyway, y'all, that was my little rant and my little findings on everything. And I know I managed to ruffle a few feathers, and oh well, bitch, fuck your feathers. I don't give a damn. Uh, a hit dog, I holler, baby. If you mad, stay mad. But yeah, this makes me feel so much better about where I'm headed right now, y'all. It makes me feel so much better about where I'm headed. And you hope I get to 150 years old, child. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but okay. I don't know if I would want that to happen. Like, who the fuck wants to be on Earth for 150 years? They will still try to make me work and pay bills. No, absolutely not. Anyway, y'all, this is just one of my little philosophical rants and realizations. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to share it with those of you could who had the sense enough to get the message from what I was saying. Yeah, definitely. And you know, it's something else I want to share with y'all on this live, but I'm not gonna do it on this one. I'm gonna have to probably go to my private live that's on the members only section, just to keep out the fucking dummies that want to get offended by everything. Um, because when I tell y'all, I could really go deep into this shit. I really could. And it's something I really want to say, but I'm not gonna say it out here because I had a realization that kind of it made me feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized that some people only choose certain options because they feel like there's no other way. And essentially, that's what people like you and me have done. You know what I'm saying? We felt like there was no other way, right? And that's all I can say on that one. At least publicly. I may do a private video about this, but about what I want to say regarding that. But I ain't trying to be too preachy or nothing or go too long. But yeah, I'm glad y'all in here for my live. I'm glad people were actually participating. I appreciate that from all y'all. Even from the hoes that got mad. I don't care. You know what really got me though about that chick is I was like, there's no way this bitch not trying to be funny. I was like, there's no way this bitch is a fucking a black sheep with the way she talking. There's no way. You just somebody over here trying to gather intel. You're not with what and what's not true. You're not making any sense, boo. Whatever your name is. It's HAJ. But anyway, y'all, I be questioning a lot of shit in society, and child, talking about you 78. No, you ain't. Hush. Not 78. I believe it when I see it. But anyway, I don't know if any of y'all got anything y'all want to say. Like, if you do, feel free to say it now. I'm off my little soapbox about it, and I'm back to shrinking. What the fuck? Ooh, no. Yeah, my toes is looking jacked up right now. I'm gonna need to cut my toenails. Anywho. Oh, thank y'all for the likes. Okay. I see y'all engaging in things. But anywho. I might actually, after I get off this live, I might actually do a video about how I'm feeling about it, because about what I really want to say, because it's controversial, and I don't give a damn about controversy, but it's like it's deep, what I mean? It's only controversial to the people who are not thinkers, you know what I mean? And they're gonna be offended because more than likely they took that path and they're gonna be mad. So hey Asia, I'm about to go ahead and end the live. Because it seemed like everything that slowed down. Oh wait, you said what? Talk about it. Are you sure? Are you sure? You sure? You want me to talk about it? Girl, cause this is gonna ruffle some feathers in this bitch. Oh, I want to, but girl, I can't do it. I can't do it right now. I can't do it right now. I mean, I can, but I don't feel like I should. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, the absurdity of realizing when you finally wake up and realize you've been living your life and doing certain things in your life to please other people or to impress other people that wouldn't give a fuck about you otherwise. That's girl, it is so maddening. It is. It make you want to just knock every fucking thing over, okay? It do. It make you want to just rip shit off the walls, punch holes in it, because you're like, what the hell? What have I been doing? This ain't me. Like, this ain't me. That's just like people who become a certain way, outside of, who's their true nature. It's like, this is not me. And I'm in a stage in my life right now where it's like I'm returning back to myself. And I'm thankful for that because I feel like Spirit is allowing me to do that, even though the process does not look pretty and it's not something that's going to happen overnight, that I'm fully aware of. But gradually, I'm returning back to myself and I'm becoming who I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Who I've always supposed to be before the world and the dumbass people in it told me who I was supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? Fuck that. Bruh, when I tell you, sit on and rotate, bitch. Can't nobody tell me shit. Can't nobody no more. When I tell you, I want that for y'all. I do. I want y'all to get to that point. But I'm not gonna sit over here and glamorize it. The process is not pretty. It's not glamorous. The outcome may be. I strongly believe that the outcome will be. But when you're going through it, it's not gonna feel glamorous. And one thing I'm realizing right now, y'all, certain opportunities that allow you to return back to yourself and to get on that road that you should have been on all along, um, it's not always going to look the way you think it should look. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I'm learning right now. You know what I mean? And this is like, oh, you say you're on your healing journey. That's awesome. Like I feel like I've been on my healing journey, but I'm stepping into repair mode, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all know what I mean by that, but that's what I feel like I'm in right now. I'm in repair mode. And it's a very interesting process. Very, very, very interesting. And I trust that things are gonna go the way that they're meant to be. And it's all gonna work out for my good because that's what it always does. You wanna know why? Because you and I are ancestral royalty. Matter of fact, this brings something else up for me. Me saying that, because this is something I was thinking about not too long ago, is one thing I realized why the black sheep of the family is always resented so much. It's because we have that a certain level of protection. You know what I mean? No matter what's put in our way, by whomever or whatever, we always bounce back and we always land on our feet. Even if we may struggle for a while, we always bounce back. And people in your family will resent you for that because they don't have that same level of protection. If they fuck up, that's it for them. Most of the time, if they fucking up, it's not necessarily because somebody or something placed an obstacle in their life. It's normally due to their own decisions. That's probably the difference. But and if not, they still resent you for that. And that is so crazy to me. That is crazy. Like there are people who will be mad that you go through a period of homelessness and now you have a roof over your head. Go to therapy, ho. Why are you mad at that? You know what I'm saying? You'll go through a period of having a hard time finding a job. Now you're employed and they're mad at that. They got an attitude. They want to talk shit about the job that you just got. But it's just the job is not that good. Baby, the more I'm starting to realize this shit, because when I tell y'all the pattern recognition is crazy. And you know what's crazy, y'all? Is you said it's jealousy. Here's the thing that gets me. Sometimes the little shit that you get ain't even nothing compared to what they might have. But they just mad that you got something, anything. What the fuck is wrong with these people? And not just family, anybody who does that. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, I don't even have the words for it. You mad because somebody able to bounce back? Now they bounce back might not be anything super glamorous or Hollywood worthy, you know what I mean? Or, but it's a bounce back. You know what I'm saying? You said your aunt was talking shit about you behind your back because you got laid off from a job. I believe it. I believe it. And it's always them fucking them old bitter bitches. I was trying not to show that. I was trying not to say that, but it still came out. Okay. Yeah, I show speed mom, absolutely. Uh are you calling me his mom? Nigga, I ain't his mom. Ciao bye. But speaking of him though, I know he had a mom that his mom was low-key kind of hating on him too. And she was trying to cause him to stop doing what he was doing. But now that he's rich and has money, now it's, oh, that's my son. But you didn't believe in him in the beginning. Bruh, when I tell you these folks be gaining amnesia, I'm going to let you know right now. When my time comes, bet not nobody, whoever, ever says some shit about me. Come to my face, oh, I always believed in you. When I tell you the way I'ma cuss their ass out smooth up and down, ain't even gonna be funny. Cause bitch, do you think I'm done? Dumb? That's very corny. That's extremely corny. And it's fake and fraudulent as hell. Now, can you imagine if Speed would have basically listened to his mom, and if he wasn't able to go live with his dad and continue what he was doing, he would have been out here with all this wasted potential just because his mama didn't believe in him or felt like what he was doing was a waste. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy to me. And this is why I say, y'all, that's a perfect example. This is why I say you have to go your path. I'm not sure if Speed ever went to college. I don't know if he did or if he didn't. I don't know if y'all know. Do y'all know? Let me know in the chat. But whether he did or he didn't, obviously what he's doing right now is not traditional. You see what I'm saying? What he's doing is not traditional, right? But he's still making a difference out here. He's still being great. He's still doing the damn thing. You see what I'm saying? And what really pisses me off is I hate to say it like this, but I feel like most people, including family, will only respect you once you get to that level. Then all of a sudden they want to claim you. That's my son, that's my cousin, that's my brother, that's my sister. Nah, fuck out my face. I'm that same nobody you said I was back then. Okay? Because one thing about it, baby, you say something like that to me or about me, whether you said it to my face or not, if I get a word that you done said some shit like that, or you was talking shit about me, I'ma hold you to it, bitch. I don't care if I become the next black female Bill Gates. Oh no, baby, remember I was nobody back then. So to you, I'm nobody now. So don't come around me. Don't do it. Cause I'm not gonna allow you. I'm gonna make you pick a side and stay on it. It's so fake. It's so fake. And this is why I say we have to live for ourselves, y'all. Not for what looks good on paper, on our family. What feels good to your spirit. Now, if in your spirit and in your heart, you're truly at peace with being those things that I said is a traditional path, then do that. But the sad reality of it is most people are not really happy. They perform happiness, but they're not happy in those positions. Most of the time, if you ask those other people, they would be doing anything else other than that. Honestly, that makes me sad, but I understand, you know, got bills to pay, you got things to do, you got responsibilities, right? But it's crazy to me how people just gaslight themselves into thinking, oh, I want this. No, you don't. You don't want this. But y'all, we finna get into something a totally different wavelength on this conversation. Did y'all see that light just flicker? Oh, okay. But anyway, I've been being brutally honest with myself about so many things, y'all. Like, it's to the point where I be like, damn, did I really just think that? Did I really just feel that? Did I really just say that? Yeah, that's really how I feel. Am I allowed to feel this way? I forgot about that in the fridge. Lord, I gotta have my broccoli up in there. But yeah, family can definitely be fake as hell. But that's why you have to move beyond what they think, what looks good for them, what impresses them, what they'll be okay with and satisfied with. Cause what good is that if you're miserable in your spirit? What good is that? Yeah, I just it gives me the heebie-jeebies every time I think about that shit. Can you imagine had I not gone through the things that I've gone through in my life or had this realization, I would be just like the rest of these weird bitches out here pretending. Oh, I love doing this. Oh my God, my work is my whole life. Work, work, work. And I would be very egocentric like these people, like, well, at least I'm this and that. You're only this and you're only that. Okay. I'm glad that God didn't allow me to become that type of person. Unfortunately, some people did. And those are the people, honestly, I feel the worst for because they don't know happiness and they will never know happiness in this lifetime. Maybe not even in death. Mm-mm-mm. Who are these randos? These randos that was coming in here. Yeah, I see. I just be silently blocking people. I don't be giving a damn what they talking about. As soon as I see something stupid, block. Okay. But mm-mm-mm. Yeah, this world is crazy, man. It's crazy. You realize how much everything is like a setup. You know what I mean? To make you unhappy, to keep you in a trap. Child, I'm about to start going on a whole tangent about other shit. Cause y'all, when I tell y'all, I be doing deep dives outside of just this family shit. I be looking into like society and how we live. You know, I look into the Matrix. Yeah, I'm one of them people, the Matrix head ass people. I'm one of them. Cause that's what this shit is. This is all like a simulation. It really is. And sometimes I be stuck, right? In between wanting to be a part of it and not wanting to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm realizing really the true answer is to make it work for me. And there's certain things, and since I know what I want now, there's certain things that need to be done, which require me to kind of, go with the program a little bit. But I know what my goal, long term goal is. What is that? Okay. But nah, like, what's semi like? I really want you to, if you want better for yourself, you do not have to stay at that low paying job forever. Don't give up on your dreams. Please don't. Like, please, boo, do not give up on your dreams. I know you said you don't know exactly what you want to do. I understand that, and that's honestly a hard place to start. And it was a hard place for me to start. Um, but please just promise me this, girl. You gonna get started. Okay, you're gonna start asking yourself questions. You know what I mean? You're gonna start exploring things. You know, at least that's how I started with everything. It's like, okay, what would I actually want to do? What is intriguing to me? And then I just start, looking into it. Right? They do keep you in the box. And another thing I've been thinking too, y'all, is how people go off grid to live. Okay, thank you so much. You say you promise. Thank you, because I feel like you got something more in you. I feel like all of you do. Y'all do. Ooh, please don't let your situation keep you stuck because you feel like you're too scared to try. And I'm saying this because a couple years ago, before I had that stroke, that's where I was. I was sitting over here working a security job I fucking hated, ended up having a stroke, and I wasn't making changes, even though I was very unhappy. I was making money, it wasn't hella money, but it was enough to keep me, sustained, right? And but it was so many other things I wanted to do that I was too scared to try because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I felt stuck. You're not stuck, Bookie. You are not a tree. Okay? This is a yo freaking world. Okay? You can decide the next chapter. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to you, I feel like Simi, you in a better situation than I was in because I had to get sick to have this realization. You know what I'm saying? You're not in that situation, at least as far as I know. I don't know your overall health, but you have a job. When you're at that job, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. This I'm gonna tell you. Okay, I'm gonna put you on game. When you at that job, do your job. Don't talk to your coworkers about anything that you thinking about doing. If you find when you finally find something else you want to do, whether it's a better job or some training or whatever you're gonna get, keep that to yourself and work on it until it basically comes into fruition. But when you at that job, do your job and just daydream of a better life. You know what I mean? And I know for some of y'all like probably, duh, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But man, I had to learn to do it like that. Like, you know what? That's why I said, look, I'm aware that even with what I'm doing right now, that's what I want to continue doing forever. But eventually I'll get there. And when I get there, I get there. Okay. And another thing I also learned recently too is don't tell people what you're working on. Don't tell people what you're doing, y'all. I'm laughing because I had an experience with this recently. And it almost went over my head, but I caught it. Okay. I caught it. But don't tell people what you're working on. Because everybody don't want you to win. Everybody don't want you to succeed. Some people want you to fail. Some people want you to stay stuck. Stuck. They enjoy seeing you be stuck. They enjoy seeing you work at that same old job that you was working at since 2007. You know what I mean? So let them think what they want to think. You ain't got to sit there and tell them nothing. You ain't got to say, "Oh, actually, I'm doing this and that." Just get your credentials and everything together in silence and bounce on that ass. Okay? They will try to sabotage, and sometimes it's not always like a physical sabotage because some people will do that. Like if they know you working on something, like if you're in a certain job, your coworkers know you're going to school, they'll try to do things to get you fired, or your boss or whatever. They'll try to do things to get you fired to make it harder for you before you graduate or things like that. Because they know you're gonna leave anyway, and they're low key hating on that, and they want to see you stuck, and they want to make things more difficult for you, right? But other times, it's more of an energetic thing. It's not that they outright do it. Some people can just have like a negative thought about what it is that you're planning on doing that you told them. That's why I say keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. They do. They want you to stay at the bottom. And you know why? It's this fucking capitalistic bullshit. Capitalism needs people at the bottom, and the people who are not at the bottom will do everything they can to keep their fucking foot on your neck. And that's why you got to move in silence. Don't tell people your next step. Don't tell people what you're doing. When you do it, just do it. Yes, and that's girl, that's what be killing me, girl. They can be doing way better than you. I'm talking like, baby, you would have to probably run 100 laps to catch up with them. But they don't want to see you do better at all. And that's sick. That's really sick. And honestly, I'm tired of people like that. Like those people like that really, well, there's a way to handle those people, or at least a way I'm choosing to handle those people. And y'all know I'm spiritual, so they will and have been dealt with. You know what I mean? They be jealous. They mad. You could be all the way on level 1. They on level 100. Why are you mad? Because I moved to level 2 or level 3. You that threatened? That goes to show you these people are fucking threatened by you. Cause they know if you ever got a chance to be at the position that they're at, you're going to you're gonna outshine them and you're probably gonna blow right past them because they're mediocre. See, a person like you and I that have had to fight and do things like that and have had to go through hard times or setbacks, we got that grit that they don't fucking have. They are intimidated by that. And I understand why they're intimidated, but I don't understand why they're doing the shit that they do. Whew. I wish some of y'all was on my membership only because, but bro, when I tell y'all, it's some shit I really wanna share with y'all, but I'm not gonna do it publicly. You know what I mean? I gotta do it behind the paywall. I got to. Yeah, 'cause this shit wild. That's all I can say. This shit is wild. Mm-mm-mm. And then, well, one thing I will say is this: have you ever had a situation where you happen to tell somebody something, and then after you told them like what you were gonna do, or how you were gonna try to do it, um, things start going wrong, right? Y'all ever experienced that? Like I said, because they don't want you to pass them up because they're stuck. And see, here's the thing: you stuck on level 100. Why are you mad though? Like, and see, here's the thing: like for those of us who actually do have that ancestral protection, we also have the ancestral blessing. So that means God and our ancestors and spirit will naturally elevate us up to probably where their level is or beyond it. Okay, yeah, y'all have had that experience too. Y'all, when I tell y'all I had an experience like that not too long ago, when I tell y'all that shit blew my fucking mind. I was like, wow. So I'm not paranoid. This is what's going on. And that thing that taught me that little moment that happened was a very little thing. A very little thing that I had happened to share, right? Very small on the grand scheme of things. That let me know, do not tell nobody else, especially that person, anything else. That's what I mean when I say energy, baby. That evil eye is a bitch. Okay, but thankfully I got past that and I was able to reset my energy and all that. And that's the thing. When you got strong energy, you can get past that. But that doesn't mean it still won't have some sort of effect, like even a minor effect. It could be more of, it might not come as like a big thing. It might be like a inconvenience, you know what I mean, that could frustrate you and try to make you want to give up. You know what I mean? But I had that happen, y'all. And when I was like, damn, it's real out here. Me too. And I like staying to myself too. But you know what? That doesn't always mean that you're always going to be safe. Because sometimes you can be sticking to yourself, being an introvert, by your lonely or whatever, being a loner, but people will still sit there and watch you hella hard because they have monitoring spirits. So they watching for the slightest fucking change. And then them people with they crusty ass spirits will have the nerve to sit there and come up to you when they notice any sort of little change and be like, "Oh, I noticed it. I noticed this and that. What you got that for? You doing this and that? Bitch, get out my face." Hey, Nas, energy is very real. It's very real out here in these streets, in these spiritual streets. It's very real. And one thing I noticed about us, like, we need to protect ourselves daily, not just physically, but spiritually as well. And especially if you're a black woman, especially that. Oh yeah. They like to mess with people who stay to themselves or get all up in your business because they don't know shit about you and you don't fuck with nobody. So they want to somehow insert themselves to make themselves seem important. And they come to you with an agenda. Oh, she gonna tell me what's going on with her. Bitch be gone. Be gone. You see my bitch be gone spray? Girl, and that shit smells so good, y'all. It's called lavender and cotton blossom. I haven't sprayed that in a minute. But that shit gets on my nerves, y'all. It does. But I tell you, if I really acted the way I wanted to act when I noticed people being monitoring spirits, I would be in a fight every fucking day, damn near, or at least every week. Probably not every day, but every week. I Cause they so stupid. They think you can't. They think you're so stupid that you can't see what they doing. You coming around trying to act all friendly, build that fake friendliness and shit with your little ugly ass, yellow ass smile coming up in my face. Hi, bitch. I'll punch you in the nose. I'll fuck you. I'll fucking punch you in the damn neck. Get away from me with that fake shit. You're not being real, and I can sense the fakeness all over you. You are reeking with fraudulence. Oh yeah, it is worse when it's your family. Oh my god, that shit make me want to throw up. And you can see like the way that they be doing it because when they smiling at you, it's like they sneer. They're not really smiling. You know, when you smile, it's like, yeah, okay. They're like, bitch, what the fuck? Why are you looking at me like a dog finna bite me? The fuck? They just like, bitch, do it hurt? Are you okay? You look constipated. And don't tell them some good news. They really sitting over there looking double constipated. I keep seeing people say when you're the eldest daughter and the black sheep, and I see the significance in that. I do. I see that. I don't have that experience though, because I was actually raised as the youngest. But I'm not gonna put one experience over the other, because honestly, being the black sheep is definitely a hard experience for anybody. I don't care if you're the middle child, the oldest, the youngest, the password child. I don't care. Yeah, it's definitely rough. But when you get through that experience where you're able to break free from those societal constraints, especially when it comes to family, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times I feel like we deal with guilt. We deal with guilt from feeling like I don't want to fucking deal with my family, right? We do. We deal with that. And it's like, well, everybody else in the world who don't understand, that has a very limited understanding of of your experience, right? Have a family. Yeah, but I'm miserable around them though. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, I thought my freaking internet disconnected. Anyway. But yeah, they do that shit. You know what I mean? but you have to get past those. And recently, I had to kind of admit something to myself lately is that I don't. I don't particularly care in the way that you should for a family because of my experiences. I don't. I'm not saying I hate anybody, but I'm saying I don't particularly care. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to at least admit it, because a lot of times they'll feel the exact same way, but they ain't gonna tell you that. You know what I'm saying? So the feeling is mutual. Mm. So do you have a good relationship with your brother, or is he someone that you kind of distance yourself from too? Shanta, this is wild, man. You said it's 100% jealousy. It's crazy is the jealousy could stem from something from so long ago. That's how you know so many people are stuck in a state of arrested development. I have literally heard people, yeah, I'm dead ass. I've heard people get into it with their family members, right? And that family member would bring up something from like when they was younger, and it's like y'all was kids, and I'm not trying to say that to be funny, but the shit that you talking about don't really make sense for you to still hold that against them. And I'm not talking about something serious like, okay, they used to abuse you or something like that, or maybe they made you feel bad about yourself. Like, no, those are things that really can leave a negative imprint on you. But it's like, oh, this little boy liked you over me. Be gone with that shit. And I've literally heard that, y'all. I'm telling you, with my experiences, I've heard. I remember. I'll never forget. I was around this these damn sisters when I was in the shelter, and one of them, child, somebody ain't gonna like this, but I don't care. One of them she was mixed. She was biracial. She was the she was the light skinned one. Y'all are killing me, but she was the light skinned one. Okay, she was mixed, and then there was another one that was dark skinned. I sat back and I just kind of watched how they were. First of all, I noticed the light skinned one was kind of jealous of the dark skinned one. And she was jealous for several reasons from what I noticed. She was jealous because that girl was smart. Um, she did have mental health issues, but nothing like, that could stop her from working or living or anything like that. And she was very open about it, right? So she was jealous of that girl's come up. She was jealous of the fact that that girl had, two jobs, and she ended up leaving the shelter, having an apartment. The girl had a car, and I remember at one point, I remember at one point, um, her sister, the light skinned girl who was the oldest sister, which was kind of surprising to me because the younger sister was like way bigger than her, like taller. But anyway, um, not that that makes a difference, but you know what I mean. But there was some guy in the shelter that the light skinned sister tried to argue with the dark skinned one over because she had the dark skinned girl had mentioned that she thought that he liked her and he did, and the sister was like, no, he likes me. Where my spray? Where my spray? What the fuck? Why are you in competition with this girl? That already let me know y'all have a very unhealthy relationship from the start. And not only that, they was about to fight at one point. There was. And then from what the girl had said, I heard the little sister say, is she already beat her sister ass before. And I ain't gonna lie to you. That right there was like for little sisters everywhere. I feel you, my nigga. Oh, he put his friends before you, and you're tired of the slick comments. Oh my god. Oh my god. So okay, so I take it that you kind of distance yourself from him because of how he acts towards you. It does. It comes from lack. That's a way to see it. You said at the end of the day, jealousy comes from lack, so it's a compliment. That's a way to see it, girl. But or I don't know if you girl guy. I'm assuming you a girl. Let me not assume genders. But anyway, yeah, yeah, that's a way to see it. That's an interesting way. But man, when I tell you, I've sat back and watched so many things like that. And I'm able to detect when people don't have a good relationship with their siblings because I'm someone that doesn't have a good relationship with mine. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily share that with them, but I'm able to tell. And I remember that it was her and some other girl that was talking, and she was like, "Oh, she was like, I feel like she jealous of me." I said, "She is." And that was the only time I actually spoke up and said anything about her sister. I said she is. Because I watched how her sister would sit there and look at her like with so much contempt. Like her sister was looking at her like she was plotting on her all the time. And always in a state of comparison. And it's crazy. Like it's a sad thing to see. But I could tell she didn't get to that point. She hadn't gotten to that point yet where she realized she really needed to cut her sister off. And unfortunately, I'm low key kind of telling some business right here, but I'm not. Y'all don't know who this is, stuff like it. But unfortunately, when that girl left the shelter, um, I do believe she allowed her older sister to come stay with her, and I was like, that was the wrong fucking thing to do. That girl gonna make you lose that apartment, but I ain't say nothing because guess what? It ain't my business. She gonna have to learn. I said either she gonna make her lose that apartment or she gonna get her locked up because she gonna end up beating her ass again. Whew, yeah, yeah, it's crazy, but I pay attention to that. Like I overly pay attention to like sibling relationships and even parent child relationships, and I'm like, I can tell when a mom is jealous of her daughter or a son is jealous of his son or the other way around. I know. I don't always say shit, but I be paying attention to it. Like I don't know if y'all saw that one video where who what was it? I think it was on TikTok. There was this video. I should not laugh at this, but it was funny. There's this one video where this boy went to his brother's graduation, his either high school or college graduation, right? And his dad was there. He wasn't in communication with his dad. Him and his dad didn't get along, right? So his dad called himself trying to press him at the graduation, telling him he needs to leave. When I tell you, I guess he thought he was finna fight his son, and he must have forgot how old his ass was, cause with the way his ass was started swimming on the ground when his son beat ass in front of all them people, child, I'm like, he needs some milk. That was Coke Zero, but he needs some milk. What are you talking about, Damla? What are you disagreeing with? And you said you had a roommate. Like, what does that have to do with anything I was talking about? I'm kind of confused. Like I was, uh, but yeah. Oh, okay. You said two women can't live in the same house together. Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. But I feel like in that situation between those two sisters, she should have never took her sister in. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but let her figure that shit out. Let her figure that shit out. And I don't know. I felt like that was just not the smartest move. But you could tell she was a good person. You know what I mean? Because I think she actually had the girl that I'm telling y'all about that had the place that was the little sister. She had borderline personality, and that was actually my first time actually meeting someone with that who was open about it. And it made me feel like sometimes people kind of misjudge people. She was not a bad person. She was not a bad person from what I saw. And mind you, I was like around this girl for like 3 months. So if she was funny acting, I would have definitely seen it. You know what I mean? Like she was one of the sweetest people I had ever met. And you could tell she had a good heart. And that's probably why she took her sister in, feeling like out of obligation. And unfortunately, I feel like I already know how that situation ended. It ended it with either with them getting into it or her other sister, her older sister, making her lose the place. Yeah, I already know how they be looking at you, Shanta. And the shit's so fucking creepy. It's like it's so creepy. Y'all, it's so creepy. When you catch a person, especially a person in your family that you know don't really care for you like that or like you at all. Here. Um, when you catch them giving you that weird look, that evil eye look, I'm gonna just tell you right now, that person detests you. They absolutely detest your ass. Okay, they hate the fact that you are breathing. And you, I don't know if any of you have ever received that look, but I have by a family member. And I honestly feel like a person who gives you a look like that will probably kill you. You know what I'm saying? I think they would. Or unalive, you gotta censor yourself. But you know what I mean? Like they'll do that shit. Oh Lord. Gay, you say your brother gay, so you don't know if it's a secret competition. Child, it could be. I don't know. But bless his heart. But I don't know, man. But people who be sitting there giving you that weird ass look, it it's weird. That's all I can say. It's very weird. And they almost do it like I don't know if y'all ever paid attention to like predators when they're watching their prey or like right before they attack their prey. If y'all have ever watched any sort of like wildlife, video or channel, that's exactly how they be looking. Like right before they attack, they sitting there looking at the target real crazy. They zoned in on them. Like they don't give a fuck how they look. And that's why I say that person will hurt you. I don't care if they your family, they will. They want to hurt you, but the thing is, they don't feel like they can get away with it. They don't. That's probably the only thing stopping them. Mm-mm-mm. But they be sitting over there looking like some fucking bisons or something, just looking at you all crazy and buck-eyed and shit, looking like a whole fucking water buffalo, just looking at you. You ever seen somebody get mad like that at a person because they just really like they just could not stand that person, or maybe you had somebody look at you like that before. I mean, eyes be bugged out they fucking head, veins and shit be, be busting out they neck, and it's like you mad. Like I got you that pressed. Oh my god. Damn. Make your next move your best, Moon Partner. But that's how they be looking at you with such contempt and hatred. Breathing hard, just what the fuck is you doing? They be looking like a water buffalo, just sitting there looking at you all crazy. Like, have y'all hold on. Let me get my other phone because I'm gonna show y'all the damn video I saw when this damn thing was finna attack. I think it was a water buffalo, I don't know. Or it was a bison. But let me show you. Cause y'all gonna be like, oh, I see what you mean. Y'all gonna be tripping when I show y'all this shit. Cause if I can find the video, hopefully I can. I had my phone off. But that shit was crazy. Look where my hair keeps sticking out. I need to give me a little brush to kind of define it. But oh Lord. Yeah, this was is I be paying attention to that. I pay attention even to how strangers be looking at me. Don't be looking at me too funny. You better be very careful with your next movement because I'm ready to chop you in the fucking neck. There's so many people out here with unresolved issues and hatred in their heart. Like, get the fuck on somewhere. Go to therapy. I'm trying to find this video, y'all, because y'all gonna laugh when I show y'all. Ooh, what's that? Oh, it's a little kid. I think it was a buffalo. Oh shit. Where did I see this video? Either it was on YouTube or TikTok. Uh, okay, it was a bison. I think it was a bison. That's what it looked like. Jesus. That person flew up in the air. I don't know why for me, but bisons just look like they look funny to me. Oh shit. They keep showing this. That ain't it. Well, why would you get that damn close to that bison? Why are they standing like that? Uh, And she trying to touch it. No, ma'am. You tried it. Cause why would you do that? That was dumb. Mm. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it, but I'm gonna find something similar. I'm gonna look up animals before they tag. So that video I saw, that damn thing's eyes was bugged out of his head. And the first thing I said to myself is that's how exactly how some people look before they come at you. Whether it's a verbal attack, a physical one, or whatever, that's exactly how they be looking. Oh, I don't want to actually see these people getting attacked, but okay. Let me look at the shorts. Okay, there's a.
Animals look like before humans. Tiger.
Hell no. Hmm?
This is most likely your worst nightmare if you go out for
Oh,
restroom at 1 a.m. This dude just went out of the stairs, and the lions were already waiting for him at both sides. They were obviously hungry and impatient, so they demanded food by jumping into the poor dude. This is most.
those are probably his lions, but okay. But I don't know. I noticed this is something all animals do. I can't find it, but that texted me. Oh my god. No, you fucking mad. Damn, I can't find it yet. When I find it, I guess I'll show y'all the way people be looking, because it's like they just zone in on their prey. Like I said, I don't know if any of y'all have ever been on the receiving end of somebody like who call themselves trying to tell you off because they being mad about something or they just don't like you. So they using that moment to try to take out their little anger on you or whatever. That they do the same thing. They do the same thing animals do. Anyway, but yeah, it's disturbing how honestly how animals and humans have so much in common in that regard. You know what I'm saying? That's very disturbing. Because the thing is, the difference between animals and human is that we have the ability to reason. Animals don't. So that means people be consciously making a decision to attack. You know what I'm saying? Ew. But yeah, these folks is you say you're not a jealous type of person, right? Most of us are not. That's one thing I noticed. Most of the community here is not jealous type of people. Like we don't hate on other people, and not to say we don't ever feel jealousy. We might feel jealousy sometimes, but overall, we're not worried about other people like that. Which I feel like that brings back to the main subject of this live stream in the beginning, what we were talking about. Can you imagine how much how much more free we would feel if we would have just gone our way, despite what anybody else had to say, despite the consequences of going our own way. Because I do know sometimes when you choose to go your own way, um, especially when you're young, you get threatened. You know what I'm saying? You get threatened with your stability, maybe your housing. They're like, okay, well, since you don't want to go to school, since you don't want to go to college, and make nothing of yourself, which doesn't mean you're not gonna make anything of yourself. You just don't want to go to college. Or since you don't want me to do it, you don't want to do what I want you to do. You can't live here. You gotta move out. You see what I'm saying? But if we would have done that, like I understand why people make the decisions they do, but that just leads you to being basically like what I was talking about. You end up getting, older and waking up in life later on, and you're like, I've been living a life that's not mine. I've just been doing what other people want me to do. Like I may love my parents, I may love my family, you know what I'm saying? But this is my life. And I haven't been living my life for me. I've been living my life for them or living my life to compete. You know how child, let's talk about it. You know how some families, right? They have this weird secret, like this silent competition. You know what I mean? And I saw this funny video about it where they was talking about how like a dance battle between one aunt that drives like a Nissan Maxima and then the other aunt that drives a Toyota Camry. And I understood that instantly. It made me laugh, but it's similar. Like they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, my kids did this and that. What did your kids do? Why is this a competition? Like, can you imagine?" And I kind of hate to use this person as an example, but like Cardi B, you know what I mean? If she would have been trying to do or go the regular route in life, she wouldn't be where she is right now. You know what I'm saying? Or Beyonce. And that's, obviously Beyonce didn't have parents that pushed her into the traditional route. They kind of more so pushed her as far as into her talents and gifts. You know what I mean? But yeah, they do. They weaponize their power. And you know what? Maybe I need to do a video on that because they do weaponize their power. And that's how a lot of people end up being stuck in situations that they never wanted to be in to begin with. That's how, and I'm not just talking about school. I'm talking about marriages, having kids when they never really wanted to have kids because they were told you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids. I remember there was a person in my family, y'all. They wanted to join the military. They wanted to join the Navy, but they didn't. And you know why? This was a woman, right? Because the women in their family said only loose women join the Navy. What the fuck? Shut that shit up. Okay? And see, them being as a person that was younger at that time, when they told me this, they were much older. But as a person who was young at the time, they actually took that to heart. So they decided, okay, no, oh no, I don't want to be loose or anybody to view me as loose. Back to that perception that I'm talking about, being perceived by other people, right? And they missed out on some opportunities. Y'all, they missed out on some opportunities that they could have actually had, and they wanted to do that. I'm all for you doing it if that's what you want to do. But if you're only joining the military because you feel like that's the only option you have because you don't want to go to college, that's a bad thing. And they're putting pressure on you like that, that's a bad thing. That's horrible. Okay? It's a horrible thing to do. Um, and I don't agree with doing that to your kids at all or to anyone at all. Okay? And yeah, it's crazy. I even found out this person didn't even want to have kids, but they ended up having them. They wanted they wanted to do totally different things with their lives, and they never got a chance to do it. And see, it's those exact people, y'all, that will They will let the bitterness of them basically letting their dreams or not really following their true dreams and their true path and their true desire, they will let that basically seep into the lives of their children or everyone around them, and all they do is pass down that same bullshit. Yeah, they do get mad when you do something different from them. And I wish, honestly, the only thing I could think to myself is I wish that this person would have had the courage to follow the path that they wanted to. They talking about women are only here to give life. Like, hell, I guess I ain't a woman. I guess I'm a man, y'all. Call me Gerald. Because I ain't giving no life. I refuse to birth another cog into this fucking system. That's my revolution. If I do nothing else, if I don't do any sort of protest or make any difference, I'm not birthing anybody else into this bullshit. It is. That's very sad that that family did that to her. And they may really have thought that they were telling her the right thing, but that was wrong. That was fucking wrong. Right. And okay, you said your dad was in the Navy and you know women that were in the military. So tell me this, Shantavia. Were those women all whores? Were they just like sluts? You know, just busting it wide and dropping it low. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that. Of course they weren't. And see, it's that ignorance like that, perpetuating that sort of ignorance to talk somebody out of their actual dream and what they really want to do. That's why you said her family is crazy. Whose family? Yeah. Mm. They could have been jealous of it. Probably were. Hell. But I just know what they said wasn't true, and then they were misleading her with ignorance and false information. And that's why you really can't take advice from everybody. And I don't give a fuck how old they are. I always say just because a person is older than you, don't mean you need to listen to them. A lot of them don't know what the fuck they talking about. And it's okay as you get older. You don't even have to be disrespectful. You can let them say all the ignorant shit they want to say, and then say, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm still gonna do it anyway." Like, okay, what's up? Yeah, people will intentionally give you the wrong advice, especially elders. They look, in my opinion, they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They do. They know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They know that you're young, you're malleable, you're impressionable, you're looking for guidance, and they will guide your ass right into hell because misery loves company. One thing I will say, look, I don't care if I ever achieve what I really want to do or not. I'm not gonna ever give someone younger than me or anyone, I don't care if we're the same age or older, I'm not gonna give you bad advice on purpose. Why the fuck would I do that? But they be doing that shit on purpose. It do. It be the elders, and I'm not just talking about auntie and them and grandma and great uncle and all that. I'm talking about sometimes the older cousins, the older siblings. They do that shit, and that is 100% wrong. But that's why I was talking about what I was talking about earlier. You know, I know we done got off that subject, but that's just leading me back to it. Like you gotta follow your own path. Because one thing that really bothered me about that, especially when I think about this person, y'all, that person was my grandmother that got told that. And do you understand that it makes me very sad? Okay, that's all I can say. It makes me very sad that she settled. Even though that would be at the risk of me not being alive, I would have rathered her be fucking happy. You know what I mean? Girl, I mean, I don't understand that. I have a bad okay, if I have a bad life, I don't want you to have a bad life. Now, what you ain't gonna do is sit over here and talk to me like shit just because you had a good one. I'm not going for that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm never going to encourage someone to go down the wrong path or a path that's less fulfilling for them. You know what I'm saying? Hmm. What somebody said? Hold on, because I ain't see that person. What? Yeah, they do. They don't ever get far in life being like that, and they want everybody around them to be just as mediocre as they are. But see, they want to feel good about their positioning of mediocrity. You know what I mean? And so it's like, oh, okay, I gotta keep you lower than me. Oh, you can't go out and explore the world. You can't, you can't do that. And I will never forget, y'all. I remember back when I was, oh my God, when I was like either in my early 20s or maybe I was 19. I had a woman around me that, I used to go to a lot to talk to about things, right? And I remember telling her like basically my goals and dreams of being like uh of being debt free, right? He said grandmothers are the best. Not all of them, but and not always. Um but I remember going to this woman and I was like either in 19 or 2021, and I remember saying I had, dreams of being debt free and, being able to, work, stack my money, no debt. And this bitch had the nerve to ask me who do I think I am? Who you talking to? You act as if I said something illegal. You supposed to want the generations after you to do better than you. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, when I tell y'all that shit blew my mind, and she got real mad at that. Talking about who do I think I am? A motherfucker who has clearly a different goal or a different dream in life than you, and a person who actually sees through this bullshit for what it is. Because even back then, I didn't have the words for it, but I still had the inner knowing that a lot of the shit that they tell us to sign up for, like taking out all this debt for school and all this shit, is kind of a scam. It's meant to keep you stuck. It's meant to keep this whole little wheel turning with capitalism. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have like I didn't have the actual words to say it, but I knew something in my spirit didn't feel right, about that. And I felt completely overwhelmed. I hated it. You know what I mean? I just couldn't understand why. You know what I mean? It's way too much. There's way too much competition. But I don't know if y'all have ever experienced anything like that, like a person acting like you just wanting to live like a free life. I'm not talking about oh where I don't pay bills. Period. I mean, even that's possible. Eventually, you have to do a certain. You have to get to it a certain way. But even for that, that costs money up front. But you can get to a life where you actually do live like that, like people who go off grid. They have to invest money into doing that at first, but then it starts paying them back. Like there's no magic society where, at least not now, um, where nobody has to pay bills, nobody has to do anything, everything is free, food is free. That would be lovely. As much as I feel like that's how it should be, that's not how it is. You know what I mean? But people would even it blows my mind that people would even hate on you having a dream like that. Like that's nothing to be discouraging anybody from. So because you didn't think of that, now you mad. And you asking me who the fuck do I think I am? Are you um and see that's the thing when you around people who kill your dreams and basically have a controlling nature and always want to stomp out your light, that's your biggest downfall right there. What? That is your biggest downfall. What? So wait, you said they wanted to know everything that you learned, like in school? So they basically, hold on, wait, Asia, you telling me that your family kept you from going to school? That's very fucking toxic. So wait, how old are you now? Because I thought you were still like 21. I don't know why. What? Okay. Oh, okay. You still 21, turning 22. Okay, that's what I figured. I was like, I thought you were still 21. So they're basically, from what you're saying, it sounds like they're trying to keep you from going to school. Why at 21, about to be 22? Why are they keeping you from going to college or from bettering yourself in that way? That's something you want to do. They're not making you do that. That's something you want. It's not necessarily bad for you. I don't understand why they would be discouraging you from that. Yeah, it's definitely a control issue for sure. And it's like trying to keep you stuck. I don't like that. Now, while I don't agree that college is definitely or 100% a safety net, but depending on how you use it and things like that, it could open some opportunities for you. It's not promised, but it could. You would think they would be happy about that though. You know what I mean? And what really bothers me is that there's um to this day, like in their 30s, 40s, and hell, even 50s, still being controlled. And they simply don't know how to just break away from that toxic hold that their family has on them to just go and do what it is that you need to do and you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be, I don't care what nobody says, as an adult, especially an able-bodied one, you're supposed to be able to sustain for yourself or even partially able-bodied, whatever, you know what I mean? You're supposed to be able to sustain for yourself. Why would you not want your child to do that? Why would you not want them to do something that could put them in a better position? Like, is it that they want you to get a trade or something or learn a skill? This don't make sense. Yeah. And please don't let them keep you stuck. Just what Shantavia said. Asia, don't let your family keep you stuck. Cause they will sit there and you'll turn around and look up and you're 30 years old, still not working, still not doing anything. You don't wanna do that. Hell, I don't wanna do that. You know what I'm saying? And in a weird way, I feel like I'm kind of glad that I was kind of forced out um on my own because well one, I don't have the option to do that. I have to get out there and work and provide for myself and anything else I want to do when it comes to like getting a different education or higher education or learning a trade or skill, I can do that too. You know what I mean? Because of your gender. Mm. Are you African Asia? Yeah, that is definitely sabotage. Shantavia is telling the truth. That's sabotage because they'll fuck around and keep you in a situation where you literally have no employment history, you have no education, and then they're looking at you when you're 30 or something years old, 30, 40 years old, and like, why aren't you doing anything? You're lazy. You're a bum. Motherfucker, every time she tried to do something, you kept stopping her. Okay, like that's crazy. And look, I can't tell nobody exactly what to do. All I can tell you is what I would do in that situation. If I was in your situation, I would get me a job anyway. And if they get all mad about it and up in arms, I would be prepared to move out. And if that means I gotta go rent a room out of somebody's house just to have my own shelter, that's what I would do. You know what I mean? And I would try to make myself as independent as possible. If you don't have a car, you don't necessarily need a car. You need to have a shelter, a job, and a way to get to work. So even if that means you got to ride the bus or the train, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it's like that for a lot of people out here. Like they family keeping them stuck, but then turning around and treating them like shit every day. Well, they don't do nothing. All they do is sit on their ass because you won't let them do nothing else. But I don't know. I know if it was me, I would probably just yeah, I would have been got ghost and enrolled myself in school. That on some real shit. I would have done it. Okay. Okay, you're American. You're black American. Okay. But yeah, if it was me, child, I would have been them secretly got me a job, moved the fuck out, and enrolled in school. Okay. Cause I don't understand why would they do that? I'm not saying it like I don't believe you. I absolutely believe you, Asia. But I'm just saying the reasoning behind it. You would think these fucking head ass parents would be happy. Oh, she wants to go to school. Versus somebody that's like, I don't want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's the script you're supposed to, you know, go by. But see, unfortunately for a lot of people's families and stuff, their support and their love is only it's conditional. As long as you're doing what I want you to do, or you're doing what I think is important or makes me look good, then I'll support you. As soon as you stop doing that, I'm not supporting you. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're gonna be moving out this year. Cause girl, that just I don't know. That just disturbed my spirit. Like you want to do something, you know. And I have a question too, Asian. Do your parents do they have degrees? I agree, Shanta. I believe a lot of black families sabotage the youth too. I do. Some of them might not mean to, but I definitely feel like a lot of them do mean to. Okay. I'm sorry, I just gotta call a ting a ting. Okay. A lot of them do that shit on purpose. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. Oh, you lost your job. Yeah, you can come move back in with us. And then they kicking you out in 2 weeks. Why the fuck did you invite them back? Oh, you could just come back home. They kick you out in 2 weeks because they get mad because you didn't, I don't know, wash some dishes or something. Like what? You know what I mean? Like, huh? And a lot of times, like I notice with black families, they love to like start shit with you when you're under their roof. They do, and this is not just parents only. This is just the families. This could be your cousin, whether you move in with your cousin, your brother, sister, grandparents. They love to start some shit with you to make you feel very uncomfortable. First of all, they want you to walk around on eggshells because they feel like they can treat you any sort of way when you're in their house, which I don't agree with at all. Now I understand when you in somebody's house, okay, you follow their rules, right? But that does not mean I allow you to treat me like a fucking whipping post. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, you said your mom was a nurse. It's okay, so she has some training or education. Your dad doesn't. Mm, okay. Oh God, yeah, they will drain you financially too. And yeah, I remember I knew someone who they were actually going through a really hard time in life, and they were living with their mom. Okay, they were living with their mom, and they were only working a job that was paying minimum wage at that time, right? And their mom basically wanted them to start paying rent. Okay, right. But they wanted the rent to be basically half of their check for the month. How are they supposed to get ahead if you're basically trying to charge them half of their check? How are they supposed to ever be able to move out or save or do anything? Now, mind you, this woman was not gonna save some of that money and for them later, and that they wasn't finna do that. Like the lies they be telling, they ain't finna do that. You just need to help paying your fucking bills, and they'll purposely put you in a situation where you can't get ahead. You know what I mean? And I see the sabotage for what it is, and I hate that so many of us have gone through shit like that, or people who do go through do that shit. You know what I mean? Now, for me, I can't say that I necessarily went through that. I just remember at like when I was a certain age, um, they just basically told me I had 3 months to leave. What? And because they didn't think I would be able to make it on my own, which I thought was very stupid and kind of discouraging. Because, like, okay, you think I can't make it on my own? So I took that shit very personally, and I said I ain't never fucking coming back. Okay. Yeah, they know you make what $1,000 a month, and then they charging you 500 in rent. That's just crazy to me. And it's a beautiful thing when I hear about people who are able to stay with their families or their parents up until their 30s, maybe even 40s, because their parents don't have that sort of toxic level of control and they actually want to see them win in life. But unfortunately, that's the exception to the rule. That is not the rule. Most people do not experience that. You got parents who probably got pregnant or had kids young and probably wasn't even planning for your ass, so they ready for you to get the fuck out so they can do what they want to do. Or, some of them, real talk, never really loved their kids to begin with. You know what I mean? That's unfortunate, but it's true. Some of them never really loved their kids to begin with. And some of them, some of these sorry ass parents didn't even give their kids the things that they needed growing up. They couldn't even provide the basics for that. Hmm. I have heard, man, I can't tell you the amount of times. I remember when I was dating or whatever, there's been so many times I've talked to dudes where they would tell me like they were in situations like that. Like, man, my mom keep asking me for money and because they know he works, you know what I'm saying? And basically you're using your adult child as like a backup, like ATM, which is crazy to me because how were you paying your bills before they became, employed or an adult? Um, and on top of that, what are you gonna do when they leave? You're gonna be calling them when they got bills to pay at their own house, asking asking for $300 so you can pay your rent. And then guess what? You're gonna get mad at them when they can't give it to you or they don't. Like this shit, I've seen some toxic shit. I've heard it, and I just been sitting there like, I ain't even gonna lie. There are some dudes I refused to date just because I saw how their mama was. I did. I straight up refused to date them because I saw how their mama was, or their daddy, or whoever. And then Shanta, you said they always asking you for money for something, knowing you don't make much, right? Now, you said you don't have kids, right? That's why they figure that you have thousands upon thousands of dollars just because you don't have kids like they dumbass did. Forgetting the fact that you don't make much. So majority of your bills or your check goes towards your necessities. But that just goes to show you just the mindset of these people. They're very dim-witted. Yeah, they act like you a millionaire. I had a family member tell me that they thought that they were sure I had thousands when I was fucking struggling at that point. And I promise you, I never wanted to slap them so much. I really did, cause it was like, you do know I have to pay bills out here, dummy, right? Like, I'm not just sitting over here pocketing my money because I don't have kids. Life isn't free just because you don't have kids. You know what I mean? Like, be fucking for real. Yeah, they act as if you don't have your own bills. They really do. And see, anyway, I ain't gonna say that, but and then they be wondering why when you get in a better position, a lot of people start acting brand new, and I don't blame them for it. They start popping their shit for all the times that they couldn't. And you know what? I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying I understand. You know, because I knew about someone who basically was mistreated by their family members, basically put out to sleep like on the curve and all that. They ended up getting themselves in a better position. I think they went to like truck driving school, started making a lot of money, doing that, you know what I mean? And then when they were in a better position, you know, them same family members had the nerve to sit there and say, I don't know why they don't come over here. I don't know why they don't come visit. They act like they too busy. Well, maybe because you were a fucking heartless bitch that kicked them when they were down. All right, take care, Damla. And really be wondering, why don't you talk to me? Why don't they come around? They never come visit. Baby, you put them in the situation where they had to struggle. So of course when they're up, they don't want nothing to do with you. Of course not. Why would they? You better be lucky they didn't come back for revenge. And these are things that I've just, I've heard through the grapevine. I'm like, okay, I'm clearly seeing it ain't just me. You know what I'm saying? This is happening with other people in my family as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, it's sad. But that's why I always said, if I were to slip up and have a child or anything like that, I would not do that. I would never do anything like that to them. I would never, and I mean that. They gonna know that your mom is always gonna be here for you. You know what I'm saying? As much as I can. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna encourage them with whatever they want to do. I'm not gonna sit there and berate them for having a dream that's different from, what's normal. Now, what I will tell them to do is get you something, because I understand maybe you don't want to go the traditional route, maybe you do, but get you something if your dream is outside of the norm, get you something that can fund that dream. So that way you're not out here working these little Rudy poo jobs that like to play with you, and you can still actually have a skill or something, you know what I mean, to fund your dream. That's the only thing I would really encourage them to do. And I would tell them, don't give up on your dream. If it's something you really want to do, don't. You know what I mean? But, always have a plan B, you know what I mean? But still keep going for that goal. Still keep going for that main plan. Like, there's so many talented people like that. There's so many talented people out here that have settled because they were discouraged from their dreams. Wow. That had you giving money every 2 weeks? Like, why? I mean, maybe was it because of your pay schedule or okay, that's weird. Mm, but yeah, one thing I'm seeing, man, like is this is one thing I love about the internet. You realize, oh my bad, yeah, but yeah, it's making you realize you're not alone in your experiences. Like I mean, I've seen some videos. I don't know about y'all, but I've seen videos on TikTok like of parents like destroying their kid's car, their adult child's car, not a teenager or nothing. Like even either way, it would be bad. But you're destroying their only method of transportation. Do you know how much level of hatred you have to have for someone to do that? And because your funky ass ain't finna sit there and get no ride to work, so you're purposely trying to make things harder for them. Like, where's my spray? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't ever want to become that type of person. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if what goes on with my life. I don't ever want to be that type of person to be trying to trip up anyone else, family or not. I don't want to be that type, man. Like that's evil. And then do shit like that to your own child, like that's your flesh and blood. And like they think that shit is normal. And you have to be crazy if you think people are gonna look at you the same afterwards. They're not. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, they do. They do. You right, Asian. They want to treat you like shit, basically, for whenever they have, that youth or that energy in their body. But when they get old, especially as they get closer to the grave, they expect you to forgive them. They're not even. Let's just be real. These old motherfuckers out here ain't asking for forgiveness. They don't even think they did nothing wrong. They just expect you to let bygones be got bygones. Oh, that was in the past. Let it go. Hell no. Okay. Hell no. We're not. No. We're gonna address some things here, or there will be nothing to happen. At this point, there will be nothing to be had. And that's another thing too. I was talking with myself about earlier is that I am a person that I realized one of my strengths is that I am a person that is willing to have those hard conversations or those difficult conversations with people. But other people, I've noticed other people are not normally like that because they get defensive. And 9 times out of 10, they get defensive because they know that they've been in the wrong and they never want to take accountability. And that's just really what it is. They don't want to take accountability, so they're never going to apologize. That's exactly why I said in one of my other videos, you don't have to forgive them. You're not sorry, and I mean truly sorry. Like I don't have to forgive you, but I also don't have to sit here and pretend like everything is all hunky dory. That's almost 9. Mm-hmm. Bro, the amount of videos that I've seen with, especially lately, of these mothers who either let maybe it's the dad or maybe their boyfriends or whatever disrespect their children, and they just sitting there not doing anything about it, just quiet as a mouse, letting him disrespect the fuck out of their child. I have to ask myself, what sort of fucking mother are you? Because real talk, you ain't finna talk to my kid crazy, cause I'ma check the shit out of you. Thank you for calling Jorge's Whorehouse. We have the ash, you have the cash. There you go. Oh, you tired of spam callers calling me? This other shit I be doing when I'm by myself. I be getting those spam callers on the fucking nerves. Y'all want to play? Okay, we can play. Hey, dude. Like, what is you calling me for? And I remember somebody called me not too long ago, like a couple days ago, talking about something with a house, like some sort of house insurance. And I said, "What house?" I said, "Where's the address?" And he was like, "Well, just the house, your house." And I was like, "I have a house? So you telling me something I don't know?" Like, tell me more. Nigga, they hung up. Like, this is just crazy. Hold on. You telling me, hold on. You telling me I got a house and I ain't know about it? Okay. And then calling at damn near 9 o'clock, you must be at your damn mind. What's wrong with you? Ugh. Oh, I was like, what? Who is that texting me? God, it was something else. Anyway, yeah. I don't like seeing that when the step parents be talking real crazy to the kids, especially when I see these men arguing with little girls. Like, the way I would chop you in the neck. This is why I know um the right people, all the wrong people have kids. Well, not all, but there's a lot of wrong people who have kids. Because the way I would chop his ass in the neck for talking to my kid like that, especially a girl. Why are you arguing with some little girl like that? Like, you get to acting crazy like that, I'm gonna punch you dead in your throat, and then you gonna be sitting there like, yeah, don't talk to my child like that. What the hell wrong with you? You better talk to me. And they be in the wrong. Now I can kind of understand like if the kid's being like a jackass or something, but these grown ass adults be in the wrong. I don't never stand behind that. Yep, that always happens like that. The mom always take the man's side. I've even heard of a situation like where, oh my god, y'all. I've heard of a situation where this woman got married to the man, right? Right, she had a daughter already. The daughter and him get into it. She kicked the daughter out. The girl in like freaking high school. Where did she go? I'm assuming maybe she went with her dad or some other family members, but don't be surprised if you and your daughter don't have a good relationship after that. Because I mean, can you blame her? No. Yeah, I think it's funny how some people have been. I've been on here like live for a long time, and there's been like a couple trolls that pop in and out real quick, but of course I blocked them real fast. I think they starting to realize that they're basically like irrelevant, and I have very strict settings. Yeah, women like that are desperate. They need to lose their man and gain some damn self esteem. I can only imagine how I would feel if I were in that situation. I would probably hate my mom for doing that. You know what I mean? Because why are you why are you kicking me out over him? You know what I'm saying? Now I understand there's always a gray area. There's always a gray area about things we don't know nothing about. But I don't understand. You know what I mean? But that's another reason why you ain't see me having no kids, because I refuse to put them in some sort of situation like that. Mm. Yeah, you're right, Asia. But yeah, I don't blame the ones who do. I don't blame the ones who do hate they mom or parents for doing that, or dad, whatever. 'Cause sometimes it's the opposite way. Daddy married some new broad, and you know she's basically like hell to her stepkids. Dragging them through hell. It's not always the men. Sometimes it's them stepmoms too. You know what I mean? Mm. This is why I've opted out of motherhood, so I don't have to worry about fucking someone up on accident or on purpose. Well, one, I would never do that on purpose, but I wouldn't even want to. I mean, I wouldn't even want to accidentally do something like that to them. You know what I mean? Like not meaning to, because they love to say that. Oh, I did the best I could. No, you did what you wanted to do. When you kicked your children out when they needed you the most, that was a choice you made. So don't be surprised if you can't go to them in the future when you need them, because you will need them. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, my hair is looking crazy. I'm looking like a whole chia pet right now. Anyway, okay. So, real question for y'all: how do y'all feel about this live stream? Okay, like just say like how you feel. Like it don't matter. It really don't matter. Uh, I just want to know how y'all feel about this live stream. Damn. Okay, it was good. You enjoyed it. Okay. So, is there anything that you feel like I could do better or differently? Because I know I've been rambling. We got off the since we got off the subject. Yeah, I like the interaction, and this is something that I actually missed, and which is why like I stopped going live, and I put majority of my live streams behind a paywall. You know what I mean? Because this won't actually be a regular thing. Like you said, all my lives are great. I don't know. I don't know about that, but okay. Uh, but I feel like there was more of a purpose to this live stream. That's what I like. I started off talking about things, and then after that, we can branch out, and talk about whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. How are y'all feeling like my latest videos? Have y'all seen my latest videos? Because I definitely got some more that's coming. Because I got a whole lot to say. Okay.
Hit the line. Hit the line. I told you 100 times, bro. Damn, bro. You back to acting mad straight right now, bro. You're pissing me off. Like I cannot be explaining your rules every time. I told you the line.
Yes, T-Ray.
What happened to Game Demon, bro? Bring him out. If you don't know tennis rule, then we cannot be playing, bro. Damn, like, bro. Just, come on. You're the straightest gay person I know.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like interacting on here, but I realized I needed to have super strict filters for for trolls and stuff like that and haters, you know. Hi haters. Because that's what just comes with the territory when you choose to put yourself out there. Um and what I thought was really funny is earlier how that I don't what the fuck was that lady name? The one who was getting mad at the shit that I was saying because she was obviously felt hit. Um I thought that shit was funny because it was just like, if you that happy with your decisions and your career choices, why are you getting offended? You know what I mean? When I was giving specifics, about things, it wasn't that I was shitting on anyone who was a nurse or a police officer, but she felt personally attacked with her stupid ass, right? Because it's like I use those things because that was a personal thing for me. It's not my fault that your bitch ass daddy and your dumb ass were in those lines of work. That has nothing to do with me. If you feel hit, bitch, holla. Okay. That shit was crazy to me. I was like, this bitch sitting over here. As soon as I started reading the comments, her getting the smart math, I said, yeah, bitch, nah. You ain't that damn happy with your decisions. You know I'm telling the truth. Most people who are nurses or police officers hate their fucking jobs. And matter of fact, police officers are actually the biggest haters. They are. They're the biggest haters because they think that little $25 an hour job puts them above people. You know what I'm saying? And then when they happen to come across someone who's doing way better than them, they start hating. I peeped that. I don't know about y'all. They hate. If they pull over a black person or a person that they feel like shouldn't have a nice car, they are the number one haters. And nurses, child, this is something that I was able to see, which I thank God I was able to see that before it was too late, before my dumb ass decided to get up in there and do it. Nurses are burnt the fuck out. That's why most of them are mean as hell on a job. They're working 12-hour shifts, sometimes working 16 hours, forced to do, like a double shift. Um, some of them are sitting over there getting their ass beat by patients. And then you got to deal with nasty coworkers, doctors, and all that shit. Baby, when I said, as soon as I had that realization of that shit, I said, oh no, this is not for me. This is not for me. And a lot of time nurses are some of the most evil fucking people you will ever meet. A lot of these nurses are very evil and mean spirited. Some of them are racist, they're prejudiced. Hell, let's not forget about that one damn video where it was this African lady who was either she was a nurse or a CNA, and she was talking about how she hate African Americans. So you had to know she wasn't treating us right if she see any of us as a patient. Shit. I'm so glad I was smart enough to walk away from that. I'm not gonna lie though, it did kind of disappoint me because at that time I was feeling like, you know what? Oh, I feel like this will be a good thing to do. This will be a good thing to do in my life. But, you know, it looks good on paper, but I was like, this is not good. This is not good. Most of them are burnt out, overworked, disrespected, and a lot of nurses are broke. Because I noticed one thing she had said too, that she had to go into entrepreneurship. If it was that damn good, you wouldn't have had to become your own boss. I know that much. You would have stayed doing that. Okay. And it's funny because there's always the people who feel hit that always want to get smart. It's like, baby, this is not a personal attack on you, but I saw what she was doing. She only commented just to disagree. Like, girl, shut the fuck up, Aunt Jemima. Yeah. I was about to say something, but I'm not gonna say that. Ew. I was about to say something. But now, I think it's funny how people really feel like when you talk about certain things, like just because you came there, I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. If that's something you really like, you don't have to defend it so fucking hard. I'm telling you, I would have fucking hated it. And it's not really what I wanted to do. I was doing that to say, oh, look at me, I'm a nurse. Oh, I'm a productive member of society to y'all. As if people who do, other things are not productive members of society. You know what I mean? There's people out here, they be forgetting there's people out here doing spiritual work. They're not any less important as a nurse, a police officer, a doctor, or a lawyer. Because all of these things are needed in society, but people like to put a ranking on what's respectable and what's not. You know what I'm saying? And when I found myself doing that shit, it was like, why was I doing that to myself? And that's why I said I have to give myself grace because I was taught that. I was taught that. Child, we ain't got to do nothing to them people, girl. A lot of them be mad just because we got American citizenship. I ain't even trying to be funny, but they be mad at that. And they over here on the work visa. Like, why the fuck you want to be here so bad when most of us want to fucking leave? Bitch, you can take my spot. Okay. I think a lot of times Black Americans, we forget that we actually have a certain privilege. I'm not saying we have as much privilege as, other people, but what the hell? Uh-uh. They trying it. But yeah, like I'm not saying we have that much privilege, but we are the Black people who are American. We are the Black people you cannot deport. You know what I'm saying? And they hate that because they want that so bad. Like, I think it's so funny, like when I hear other races of people, especially white people, say, "Oh, go back to where you come from. Go back to Africa." Bitch, I ain't never been there. What is you talking about? Okay. And a lot of us will willingly go, you know. You gotta do some research first, but but I think that is so funny because it's like you telling us to go back somewhere we ain't never been. What you gonna tell me? You tell me to go back where I come from, where California? Oh, okay. All right. Right. If I gotta go back to where I come from, then your grandma gotta go back to Europe. Okay. Shit. She gotta go back to Sicily. But anyway, I just thought that was funny, and I wanted to talk on that real quick because that lady was really sitting over there getting all defensive and arguing with herself. That's why I blocked her dumb ass because I was using the real life examples of things that I thought I wanted to do when I realized I didn't want to do that shit. All of those, both of those jobs are anti everything that I want right now. I want peace. I want a boring job. I want predictability. All of those jobs don't do that. Both of those jobs, neither one of them actually do that. Exactly. But I just think that shit is funny, y'all. I think that shit was hilarious because it's like those just happen to be my two examples. You know, if you feel so good about what you did with your life, then you don't need to defend it that hard. But my whole thing is I was coming from a realization like, bruh, I was really sitting over here trying to live for other people. So I could say, hey, look at me. You know, I'm the one y'all thought wouldn't do anything, but I'm a police officer now. I'm a nurse now. I'm a lawyer now. No. You know how many people are in those, especially nurses, okay? You know how many people are in those professions? Hell, even doctors. And they don't need to be in there. They never really wanted to do that shit. And you can tell they have no passion behind it. They're not happy about it. That it was just what was expected of them. You know what I mean? Maybe their family was all doctors, so okay, let me go to med school and be a doctor too. But you're not happy. And you can tell that by the way that a lot of times you go to the doctor and you see how they be acting with you. You know what I'm saying? They be acting like they can't wait to get the fucking appointment over with. And then the same thing with nurses. They be going with the fucking motions and be having an attitude, being all rough and shit like that with patients. And oh hell no, girl, gone somewhere. Give me somebody that love this job. Don't I want another nurse? Hell, shit. That's just like a hairstylist, bitch. Okay, let me tell y'all. I came across a hairstylist that did not want to be a fucking hairstylist. When I tell y'all, I never went back to that bitch again. Cause after she let me know that while she was doing my head, I said, this bitch ain't touching my head no more. And would you want somebody who doesn't like their job caring for you? You know what I'm saying? Or providing a service to you? Hell no, you wouldn't. Cause they gonna give you shitty service. They gonna have an attitude. They gonna be hella unprofessional. Yeah. And that's precisely why, real talk, you ain't gonna catch me being a caregiver no more. I don't wanna do that shit. I don't like it. I don't wanna do it. It's very draining to me. So no, I know I'm not going to be the best caregiver I could be, so I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Which is why I'm glad, like I decided, and I finally came to a conclusion with what I want to do or the type of work I want to do, and I'm just trying to get there. You know what I mean? I'm just working on getting there, and I'm just following the little road to like lead me down that path. But I promise y'all, once I get there, I already know it's gonna be awesome. Right. Why do a job that you don't like? And especially a job that you had to go and get trained for and go to school for. Why why did you do that? Like, why did you do that? You went and got training with your stupid ass for a job that you fucking hate. And it's all because, oh wow, I don't want to let down my family. Oh, they'll think, what will they think? What will people think about me? Man, fuck what them people think. Cause now you the one sitting over here ended up being, miserable every fucking day and depressed, and then more than likely probably getting in trouble on your job. Cause I've heard, look, I've done some deep research into nursing. Some of them nurses be getting in trouble on the job, like because they're so burnt out and they just really hate their fucking job. You know what I mean? And it starts to show in the quality of care that they give. And honestly, I feel like when that stuff starts happening, same thing with being a caregiver or CNA, leave that job. There will always be, other people coming in willing to do that work, probably more energized than you, maybe younger than you, more capable, stronger, whatever. Let them do it. Find you something else to do. It's not worth it. Me too. I would love to work from home. It it's crazy. It's like I've been looking at my birth chart, and my birth chart has been pointing to a lot of things as far as what's crazy is like content creation. My birth chart keeps leading me to like use my voice, which is why y'all see I'm back on here doing my thing. And I'm not gonna let up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very aware of the fact that there's some people or things that don't like that because um I've basically had my throat chakra attacked. You know what I mean? I have. And it's funny because if you've ever had any of your chakras or anything attacked, um, it's not as dramatic as it seems. It might just be something like you start feeling like pain in that area or something like that. Or maybe certain things like if your solar plexus or something, your stomach will start, getting real big or like you start gaining weight and stuff around your belly, um, root chakra, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And I was paying attention to all of that stuff. I was like, okay, somebody, because I noticed as soon as I started talking more on this channel, I started feeling that stuff, but it was going away. Because the more I talk, the stronger I get. You know what I mean? That's how I know this shit is a part of my purpose, but I also have to be responsible with it. I can't be up here just abusing, my platform. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Now that don't mean I'm gonna sit here and let anybody just sit over here and attack me. I will talk my shit, and you will get blocked as y'all can see. But you know, there's a lot of people, and especially a lot of people who don't want me to be on here talking. I've been very aware of that, and honestly, they're just gonna have to deal with it and get the fuck over it. Cause I've already made my decision. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm gonna finish what I started. And see, that's the thing. When you have like a purpose over your life and all that, um, hmm, especially if you were born into a karmic family or surrounded by karmics, basically, they don't want you to operate in that. That's why you might find like if you're like maybe some of y'all want to do your own thing, like you'll find that there'll be like hella trolls if you're, on your platform or anything like that. It's trying to discourage you. You know what I'm saying? That's an energy and spirit behind them people. And um even like in certain situations, like I'll never forget there was this one content creator. I think his name was Ralph Smart, right? I don't know. Do y'all know who that is? But he's a really big YouTuber, like big spiritual YouTuber. Um, and I remember he said in one of his videos, like he was, recording some content, right? And he's not really loud, right? So some random guy just walked up to him when he was, out recording. I'm assuming probably at a park or something. Okay, you know who he is, cool. And the guy told him to stop recording. And he was like, no. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who are you to come over here and tell me to stop recording? I'm not gonna stop. And he kept recording his content. Bro, that's a energy. That's a spirit in that person. Cause why the hell is him talking to a camera bothering you in public? That's just wow, man. And see, I'm very hyper vigilant. So if I'm out and about and I started noticing certain things, what words were they? I really don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't even think he said it in the video. Um, I'm pretty sure we all know, but I'm sure we all know. But Yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. That's just an example, you know what I mean? Just to show you like how people will how these like little entities or energies or whatever don't want you to follow your path and your purpose. You know what I mean? And then going back to like the little spiritual attack or whatever, like I noticed with my throat chakra, like somebody's been trying to block my throat chakra. And I already know they mad that I'm back on here now. And I don't give a fuck because what are they gonna do about it? You can't stop me. Like you really can't. I can always upload. As long as I got me a phone and a connection to the internet, I'ma still keep making this content. And there's way more to come because I have like 100 ideas for different videos. Like literally probably more than 100 now. Cause that was just a couple months ago when I was brainstorming. Yeah. I gotta let them stay mad, baby. They can die mad. They can take a shit mad. They can go to bed mad. They can drive to work mad. I don't give a fuck because I know I'm doing something that needs to be done. Like within this particular niche, there's already not that many people, in my particular niche. You know what I mean? So of course they want to try to silence people like me. Um, and they think by coming up under your videos and making comments about your appearance or saying stupid shit or even reporting or reporting your live stream or your videos so they don't get monetized, girl. Yeah, I've had that shit happen. Yeah, guess what? I appeal and guess what? Everything gets approved again. They be trying to slow you down, but that's all they can do because they can't stop you. And it's the same thing even for like those of you who are dealing with family that's trying to set you back. All they can do is slow you down. They can't stop you. And take it from someone who has had their family try to slow them down. They mad because I'm back at it. I'm pretty sure some of them are mad. The ones who are still watching, the ones who peek in from time to time. Oh shit, she just uploaded a video. Like you mad or no? And see, another thing I had noticed too, like when I was, basically taking time away from YouTube and things like that, and from my platform, basically I had noticed that I started to kind of change myself. Um, when I would try to come back and make videos, and I was like, yeah, this ain't me. So that's how I knew like my throat chakra and my voice is being messed with because I started to become like more and I'm just being real with y'all. I'm being very vulnerable right now, but I started to become more self-conscious, you know what I mean, about how I'm being perceived, and things like that. Now, I'm not saying I want to sit over here and act like a jackass or something all the time, but here's the thing, there's some people that are not going to be happy no matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you say it. They're just mad that it's you saying it. And when I finally realized that, I was like, yeah, they just gonna have to get the fuck over it. They gonna have to get over it. Cause I'm not done with this. You know what I mean? And I'm not giving up on something I started. I started this whole platform for a reason for people like myself who've gone through similar things. And it's just to wake certain people up. Absolutely. They can definitely stay mad. Man, this shit wild, though. It's I mean, I could break it down even further, but I feel like there's some people that are just mad. Well, no, let me go ahead and say it. Fuck it, I ain't finna hold myself back. I feel like particularly there were certain people in my family, um, especially with me being the black sheep. You know what I mean? I wasn't supposed to be the one to have a, or even be able to have a community online. I'm not even supposed to have people on here listening to me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to be nothing to nobody. You know what I mean? And one thing I kept noticing with certain people that, especially the ones I don't deal with anymore, they kept saying like how they would be reading my comments and how, they noticed how y'all were basically, finding value in what I was saying and really like supporting me. You know what I mean? And I found that to be very strange how they kept bringing that up. And it's like, oh, so you don't want me to have support because you keep harping on that. And mind you, I'm not talking about you guys paying anything for me. I'm not coming to y'all asking y'all for money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't selling your shit. It's just the fact that you guys took value in the things that I had to say and want me to keep going. That's weird. You know what I mean? Like that's really weird. But see, that kind of makes me think too about how like in these little family systems like that it made sense for certain things, like in the past. I remember when I got married, when I was like 18, right? Um, I remember specifically at that time being told by multiple people that my sisters were pissed the fuck off. Why are you mad at that? And not only were they pissed, it was someone else in my family that was pissed off, which it absolutely made no sense for them to be mad. But it's like, oh, you're not supposed to have nobody to love you. That's what I'm meaning. Like when I say this shit, this black sheep shit really runs deep. You're not supposed to have a good experience. You're not supposed to have a good life. You're not supposed to look good. You're not supposed to feel good about yourself. You're not supposed to have anybody who loves you. Who the fuck is this person calling themselves trying to love you? You're not supposed to be happy. This shit runs deep. It runs deep. And I'm just saying the parts that people are either scared to say out loud, but they've probably been thinking it, or other people like to deny. Oh, of course I don't feel like that. Yes, you do. Cause why the fuck was you mad? If you got married, I wouldn't really be mad. I would honestly feel bad for whoever the fuck you got married to, cause I know who you really are, and they stuck with you. So that's about it. Yeah, we do. We all need someone to talk to, and that's why I created this community. And not only is it, just for us to talk to, it's like this is a real documentation of my journey. Um, and this is something that'll live, far beyond like when I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually, I know I am going to get to that side where of life where I'm beyond all of this, which is why, the name of the channel is what it is, Beyond Family, Life Beyond Family. Um, and currently I'm in the stage right now where it's like I'm doing things without support or a safety net, you know what I mean? And I'm figuring that out, which is what a lot of black sheep have to do. A lot of people who choose to not deal with their families or have a traditional relationship with their families, they have to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because one thing about it, I will say is this: I definitely feel like I will achieve that in my lifetime. Ain't nothing gonna stop me. Things will try, but it won't stop me. And I agree, though, Simi. They should have been happy for me, but it's like whatever. You know what I mean? They weren't, and that's just what it was. I accept it for what it is. Can't change it to what I would want it to be. No, family definitely is not family nowadays. It's you not lying, man. Like Family be your biggest haters, be your biggest ops, probably actually really be your first ops. Um, and what really gets me is like how family will sit there and be talking about shit about your ass for years. I'm talking about since your ass was a little kid, and then wonder why you feel the way you do about them. Like, are we not in the same environment right now? Like, in what world do you think is normal for you to be sitting around talking shit about someone and then they're not going to feel a certain way towards you? For you to constantly be putting them down, for you to constantly make them doubt themselves, belittle them, and you think I want to deal with you? Like, what world are you fucking existing in? Oh yeah, they definitely will. They'll definitely treat other people better than you. But see, I've had to accept some very, very, very harsh truths about family, especially the way family is now, and in particular mine. I had to accept some very harsh truths. Baby, some of them, it's best that we don't ever deal with each other again. I know in a perfect fairy tale ending, everything would be all hunky dory and fine and butterflies and gumballs, but no. For me to protect myself, I feel like when you've already had so much damage done, you know to like stay away. That's just like, okay, if you keep getting burnt by the same stove, you gonna sit over there and keep touching it? Hell no. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. Most people don't realize that there's people out here, especially lots of people out here that don't have family who supports them. You know what I mean? They'll sit there and pretend like they do. Oh, well, I'm happy for you. You're lying. But they'll sit there and be discouraging your ass along the way of anything until you actually achieve it, or until they actually see that, whatever they did couldn't stop you, or, you still succeeded anyway. And then that's when all the lies oh, I'm so proud of you. You're a fucking lying bitch. You are a hmm um yeah, another thing I realized too is that family likes you to have this false sense of closeness where it's manufactured, it's not real. So they want to have this illusion of, oh, we're a close knit family. No, we're not. We only come together when there's a death in the family. And most of y'all niggas, I don't even really know. I'm looking like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, not trying to be funny, but who is that? And how they know my name? Um, we're not close like that. We don't have a good relationship. We're not friends. We don't even have a family type of relationship, you know? Soon as we leave here, we ain't fucking with each other no more. You know what I mean? It's wild. And that's one thing I've come to realize and accept that I'm not willing to participate in the fake manufactured closeness. I'm going to continue to keep my distance as much as I can. You know what I mean? And it's not out of hatred or anything. This is really out of protection. And that's what happens when you finally accept the truth. Right. And then that we don't speak. Right. Okay, you say wait. Yep, that's my mom's side of the family. Only comes together when there's a death in the family. Most of the time you don't even know the person who died. Um Well, they don't know the person who died. And other than that, we don't speak. Exactly. And then sitting over here, this is what get me, y'all. Sitting over here taking pictures together, posting that shit online, acting like, oh, this is my cousin, this is my family. Say their names. Say all of their names. I bet you can't. You don't know all these motherfuckers. Cause I can't. I don't know these niggas like that. And this is something I realized a very long time ago. Like I'm talking like when I was in freaking high school, I realized that my family was not that close, and I didn't like that. I felt like that was something that needed to change. But see, that's why they love social media though. They look because social media allows them to pretend. You think just because you befriended your cousin who stays on the other side of the United States, mean that oh yeah y'all locked in? No, y'all not. You don't know them, and they don't know you. And 9 times out of 10, they sitting over there hating on you, or you hating on them, depending on who you are. You know what I mean? That's fake as hell. And I'm not willing to fake that closeness. That's why I don't add any family on my social media. None of them. I don't I don't sit there and pretend to want to have people's numbers. And I will tell you, do not give my number to nobody. And if you do, everybody getting cut off. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not willing to put on that front. I'm not willing to sit over here and fake calls, just to check in with people or send text messages and things like that. Just to be like, oh look, yeah, we talked. Goodbye. I'm not gonna do all that. Oh my god. Yeah, they only want to call to just be nosy. Now, as far as those microaggressions you were talking about, Shanta, I just realized your name is probably Shantavia, but but I've been saying it wrong. But as far as those microaggressions, like, can you give some examples of that? Because I feel like I already know what you're gonna say, but I know like your experience is your experience. Yeah, me too. I promise you, if I could go live in the woods in my own little house, I would. But unfortunately, I can't. I still got to deal with the rest of these freaking earthlings. But you know what really gets on my nerves though is people calling just to be nosy. That does. That gets on my nerves. And another thing I noticed too is when you're on calls with certain people who are being nosy, especially in your family, like they have a certain method. Okay. And I feel like I need to break that down in another video because they start fishing for things. I picked up on a method recently. I picked up on a method that they use, and it's very interesting. And it's sad because it's actually kind of predictable. I actually, well, no, not recently. I picked up on that a long time ago. Yeah, I'm very thankful for being in a stage of my life where I'm no longer accepting things that don't feel right to me. I'm not accepting fake love. I'm not accepting Damn sure not accepting disrespect. Um, I'm not accepting things that I know will basically not work for me. You know what I mean? So I'm being very selective right now in this season. And that includes being selective with who I tell what, you know. I might want to go to Walmart because what the hell? They about to close in like an hour. But yeah, I feel you though, Shantavia. I'm over it. And not like in a defeated way, but I'm really just like I'm done with it. I'm not accepting certain things anymore. I can't. My back. Mm-mm. Okay, hold on. Oops. Wrong thing. What the hell was that? Oh, she's cute. But yeah, I don't blame you for being done with people. Oh, but you know what? Actually, I take that. But well, I don't blame you, but I kind of recognize the problem with that though. Because I feel like when you've gone through certain things with with your family or whatever, that builds like a level of distrust in you, um, and it makes you closed off. And I feel like when you become done with people, or at least from what I've noticed from what I do, what I've done, is becoming done with people doesn't do anything but really hurt you. You know what I'm saying? And it allows them to win. Because when you have a heart, when basically the people in your life who were supposed to love you and protect you did not do that, like they failed to do so, um, that causes you to not trust people and it causes you to become closed off and they win every time with that. um so you're not you're not able to allow yourself to make friends, they win. You don't allow yourself to let love into your life, they win. um you know you push people away or whatever, they win. And that's why I'm kind of truly realizing you got to get to a point where you're beyond that shit, and it's hard because I'm personally right now, trying to work on that. You know what I mean? Like I'm battling that right now. Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to let some people in. I've been in a space where um I've been in a space where I've been basically in isolation, and that isolation is necessary, right? And I don't know how much longer I may have to go through it, but the isolation is necessary because it's making room for the right people to come into my life and for my soul family. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, with that space being made, I need to do some healing work and work on my mindset and opening up a little bit, to the right people because I ain't opening up to everybody, and just learning to trust myself more. and realizing that everybody is not going to do you that way. You know, everybody's not going to do you the way your family did. You're not going to have that relationship with everyone. Like some relationships will actually be positive and bring you joy. It's easier said than done, okay? I'm not saying this like, oh, I'm already there. I'm not. I'm still working on it, okay? Not gonna lie. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm finna go to the Walmart. Look at this one. He is knocked out. Well, damn, I've been on this live for a long time. I guess this is making up for all the times I wasn't going live, huh? Boy, bye. Mm, why is his nail so damn long? What's weird? All right, anyway. So I guess I'm finna go ahead and get off live. I appreciate y'all for sitting in here with me and talking and interacting. And I don't know when I'll see you on the next one, but for those of you who might want to, catch anything later, join the members only. Have a good night.